I guess there's reasons why that's discounted. I don't know. You tell
How
me.
does he tell on it that they're not parallel?
Do you want us to go over that video? That'd be good.
Yeah, that's
Well, wait a minute.
That's an
If you
idea.
claim that lines aren't parallel, you got to use plumb bobs. Sorry.
One of the
that's
stipulations.
Buster's if P and Q.
Yeah.
How does he
So
tell
if
that?
levels,
We got a meme about that, haven't we, Buster?
Mm-hmm.
isn't a bubble level going to be giving you the same information that a plumb bob that'll give you? You all agree that that would be true, correct?
No, one of them gives you vertical.
That's a
the other gives you
horizontal.
horizontal.
Yeah, the horizontal. That's
The
what
bubble
you're doing.
level
You're
gives you
establishing
the same information
Mm-hmm.
as a plumb bob.
Great.
Nice
So
one,
we
Zanik.
both,
Are you?
So we all
You're
agree-
not being a protector of the global plums, are you, Zanik?
the global plumb. Yeah,
Is
I
that-
am the curator
Do you
of the
want
plumb.
to? You want to do that? You want to be the protector of the global plums, and we'll be.
Well, I think
We'll just talk about the geometric plumb bobs, right, and their relation to the
Okay.
horizontal.
So Zanek's got a method.
the horizontal
for telling
that's
if they're
established
parallel
by
or
the
not,
plumb.
and you haven't so
A
far.
orientation
Just
perpendicular
keep
to that
talking over
plumb.
him. Like, don't worry about it. Was that you talking over Dawn, or Dawn talking over you, Zanik?
I don't know if I've got a quiet mic.
Oh, I didn't hear him. He's got a quiet mic.
Oh yeah, he's got. A
Well,
mic.
I heard him, and I have hard of hearing, but Don, it's okay. Zanik will let you speak pretty soon. Just let him finish for a couple hours, and then come back, and you'll get your question.
Jackie, yeah, come
nearly
on. I didn't hear him.
I'm nearly finished.
He was
My
quiet.
point is that flat earthers and level earthers don't have a good way of telling if plumb bobs are parallel or not.
The
at a
Earth has
distance.
got nothing to do with the plumb bob. That's it.
And that's my point. I've made it now. Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Like,
See you later.
If we can keep like the dirt and the land and the earth out of this, because this is a geometric thing, we're talking about plumb bobs and levels. Neither of them care about the land underneath them in any way.
Can we look at the plumb bobs?
Are you
over
happy
water?
with that, Zanik? That the plumb bob and the level, neither of them give a shit about the land underneath them, do they?
Correct, and that's why when you
Well, that's
show
okay. So
a plumb
it's got
bob,
nothing
have
to
a
do with Earth, has it? Just a plumb bob and a
No,
level.
yeah,
That's all we're
right.
dealing with. Yep.
correct. So if you have a plumb bob and you have a level orientation, which would be a horizontal, as I agree
Professionally
with everybody.
calibrated plumb bob.
Yeah, professionally calibrated plumb bob.
Yeah.
And it's orients itself perpendicular to a level horizontal, right? At that point.
Because it's been calibrated.
Because it's been
Professionally.
calibrated, yeah. So now you have another plumb bob at some distance away, say 400 yards away, and you sight that level horizontal to the other level horizontal,
Plumb
and
bob.
it doesn't line up. So that
You
shows
got mixed
by
up. We
simple
were doing
geometry.
plumb bobs.
You're going to keep on, you know, I'm going to let you cut me off because that's your show, but you
Yeah.
notice you're doing it, right?
Yeah, but do you notice that you did a plumb bob at one end, and then when you sighted it, you did a level horizontal?
That's what I said. I did. You have a level horizontal at one plumb bob. Because level is perpendicular to plumb. And that horizontal will be straight as an arrow, straight
Horizontal.
from that position outward.
Vertical and
into infinity.
horizontal.
Yes, horizontal.
hmm
The other horizontal
Which other
is
horizontal?
that from another, any other plumb bob will have another horizontal.
No, you've
straight.
got one horizontal and you're looking through it, and then anything in
okay.
that line of sight would be vertical. That's how measuring rods work.
Yeah, but you're forgetting the point that we have another
Vertical.
horizontal. We have another horizontal established at another
No,
plumb
no,
bob.
it's the same horizontal. Do you not know how auto
No,
levels
it's not the
work?
same. Well, that's the point we're trying to make, that it's not the same
It
horizontal.
is the same horizontal because you're looking
not-
through
you can say
the
it all
auto
you want,
level.
but it's
That's
not-
I agree. It's the
horizontal,
same
Zanik.
horizontal.
Why would you agree to
You
it
don't
when
seem
it's
to
not proven to
understand
be
what
not
you're
the same?
talking about.
Because
Zanik.
horizontal,
I think
yeah,
she-
horizontal is a straight line.
Yeah, horizontal is a
It's
straight
not
line
a point.
from
It's
the
not a
origin.
point.
Okay.
Why is
It's not a
everyone kicking
point.
me? Is this? Can you not hear me?
No, no,
Right,
no.
because nobody's bothered about what you're
Oh,
saying.
I mean,
at the
Bev
minute,
can do it, but
Zanik.
We've lost all
you-
respect for you, Zanik.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you're being a
anybody.
lying cunt.
Just honestly, that's the honest answer you asked. It's because most have lost all respect for you.
And-
No offense.
Bev,
I'm trying to
that is
find the
offensive,
video.
especially from
Bev,
you,
I'm trying to
Rakia.
find
Come
the
on.
video
I think you
about-
and I
Just
just
when,
made out
when
now.
you make claims like I am the
I'm being
citation
honest.
and don't give any kind of actual proof for things, just like claims.
Can I just make a disclaimer here?
anything.
I've actually never had any respect for Zanik,
Yeah.
so I've not lost anything.
Me too.
And who are you to judge me?
because of the conversations I've had.
Okay, so let's go back.
Yeah, can we, guys, can we maybe not do this and like keep it on topic?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but that's half of the point, mate.
When people, this is the refuse that people take when they don't have an argument.
No, you asked
Well,
a
you did
question.
ask,
Hold
Sonic,
on.
you did
Hold
ask.
on. You asked.
Information. You're
Hold
making
on.
assumptions you can't back up.
You asked a question. I answered it truthfully and honestly. I told you I was being honest. And you said, okay, we're done. Let's move on. That's fair. But don't say this is what we do. You asked.
I didn't
So
ask anything.
let's move
Yes,
on.
Zanuck,
move on.
that's fair. You did ask. You did ask.
Everywhere. Okay, fine. Essie, I'm ready to move on. I'm a
Okay.
big boy.
Well,
So let's do it. Let's
let
move
me
on.
continue then with the horizontal feature that you said.
Right, Bev.
Yeah.
Are you done with him or not?
Well, I will be once I've got to say this, that the horizontal that's established by the auto level looks out and it's a horizontal line. Now, when you put a measuring rod in that line of sight, that has to be vertical. And vertical in relation to the crosshairs. This is the horizontal. Like, you are not on the same plumb bob. You are on a different, because you are further away. Yet it is vertical and perpendicular. It's required to be in the crosshairs. So whatever you're saying, Zanuck, your other horizontal, it's a load of bullshit. Your other horizontal isn't there in the line of sight that's a horizontal. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just rubbish.
I'm trying to find a spot to answer. Can I answer now?
Go on, but make it quick and make it
One-
really
one
good.
sentence.
Because
It'll be one sentence.
you're gonna be muted if it's not
It'll be
good.
one sentence. Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, and what we do see though is another horizontal created by another plumb bob because of the fact that those plumb bobs are not parallel.
Yeah, you just disregard everything we said. Okay.
No, I heard everything you said.
Enough.
You're assuming that those two plumb bobs are parallel, and if they were, you'd be
plumb
correct.
bobs? There's only one horizontal, and the measuring rod is vertical. Zanuck.
That's what's under contention. You just keep restating it. Do you have
It's
anything?
under contention? What the
I'm
fuck
sorry.
are you talking
I'm sorry. I
about?
thought this was a conversation.
It
My bad.
is, but you're saying the same as Zanuck.
No, you're asserting that they're all parallel.
I
We're saying
will get you one picture, right? And this is as much as I think we need to go to.
okay.
But
I'm just saying we've measured.
It will
we have
help
people that have
everybody
measured.
understand
Now they may be wrong.
How
To your point,
things are
but we're
working.
measuring plumb bobs that are not parallel, so we're seeing different horizontals. You're asserting that they're all horizontals are the same. We're saying that they're not, so you have to show proof that they're not.
I'm saying that all perpendiculars to a horizontal plane will be parallel. There is proof for that. So all you have to do is establish a horizontal plane. Can you do that, Zanuck?
All what is
Can you?
parallel?
Can
all
you?
what? All
Zanuck? Sorry, don't know. Can you establish a horizontal plane?
Yes.
Okay. So all perpendiculars to that horizontal plane would be parallel, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. I agree
And
with you.
anything perpendicular to a horizontal is called vertical. That's right, isn't it, Zanuck?
Yes. Correct.
So that would mean all the verticals are parallel, wouldn't it, Zanuck?
Incorrect.
You can't go through with two truthful statements and then come up with a falsehood.
It's a
at the
logical
end of
fallacy.
it.
You're making a logical fallacy,
You've just proved how much of a lying piece of shit you
I'm
are.
not lying. I'm saying.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can I ask a question? It's Halloween this weekend. If I dress up my kids, they will get candy. That's a true statement. If they go to the door and they knock on the door and they say trick or treat, they're going to get candy.
Not here, they won't.
If no... Oh, cool, I get muted. Fuck it.
Okay.
You didn't get muted.
Nobody muted you. What are you talking about?
That was a nice try.
I literally got muted.
I think he was hoping, bro. We
No,
know
I
you.
was
here,
trying to-
here, here's the...
Hello, I was trying to turn you up, and my fat finger hit the mute. It was like 1 second, dude. It was a
I'm-
mistake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm expecting to get muted. So,
Why would you expect to get muted unless you're talking
Okay.
shit?
because mute equals win
Yeah.
on this channel.
Make a good
No,
point.
the-
We won't mute.
Both
Halloween.
of the Halloween. Kids dress up, they can go get candy. Kids go to the doors and go trick or treating, they get candy. If no one's home,
Okay,
they get candy.
hang on.
Oh look, two
Rob, hold on. Let him finish. You're next. Let him
Why
finish.
can't you let him finish?
two truthful statements followed by a non-truthful statement. If no one's home, they're not gonna get candy. I don't care. That's how you do.
No.
That's
Can
how
I
you do
say
two
something now?
truths followed by a non-truthful statement. It's not hard.
We got it, Kool-Aid.
Can I say
Go ahead,
something now?
Rob.
What was the
Kool-Aid.
non-truthful statement? I don't get it.
No, hang on. Kool-Aid, what does that have to do with level being horizontal straight line?
It has to do with the fact you can say 3 sentences. The first 2 are true, and the third one is not.
Wait, why was the third one not?
Because if there's no one home, the kids getting candy is not a true statement.
That's not true. People leave buckets out all the time if they're not going to be home.
True, that happens.
Okay.
But regardless.
Good job, Kool-Aid.
Is that really the point? Or
And an
do you
empty
guys
analogy there,
understand what I'm
Kool-Aid.
saying?
Why don't you just
Why
step
are
off?
we talking
No,
about
we're just going to talk
bad.
all over. Cool. Mute to win. Good job.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you, man,
Have
for
a
bringing
good
that
time.
up. It has nothing to do with plumb lines.
Yeah, that was a.
No, go ahead and just assert that all plumb lines are parallel with absolute.
There you go. Thank you very much. Right.
What
so,
if the kid dressed up as a plumb line? Sorry, just making sure.
The point that the vertical
No, hang on, Beck.
horizontal.
Please. Can I just... They have a real hard time with the word perpendicular.
That's where we're going. That's what we're talking about.
It's that simple. Like, look up the definition of perpendicular and horizontal and vertical, and those are geometric proofs. We don't have the burden of proof here.
But we can prove it, right? With geometric principles of how the optics of things work. Horizontal, vertical. Stadia hairs in every optical device work on the principle of similar isosceles triangles. If those lines weren't all vertical, then it wouldn't be similar triangles.
A grid, right? A grid. They're arguing against a grid.
Hello, everybody. It is game time.
Oh no,
ISB
those lines that go
2021
up are not the
Virtual
same like
Microbiome
the other
Series.
lines that go up. It's a grid. It's
I'm
just
Sean
a grid.
Gibbons. I'm a faculty member.
It's funny how
at
they
the
say,
Institute
well,
for Systems Biology.
they're not parallel, right? It's on you to prove that they're not parallel. That's what Sanic said.
It's a grid.
It's
a geometric fact that they are parallel.
I know. Yeah, but he's asking you to prove his claim.
Yeah, they all do. That's the way it
Right? He
works
says
around here.
they are not parallel. You have to prove that they are.
Well, that's easy to prove because geometrically, like I proved to him, if you can make a horizontal plane, then all perpendiculars to that plane will be parallel.
Oh, Sanic is muted. I'm sorry, Sanic. I'm talking about you and you being muted. I apologize.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Let's forget Xanix's even here. Let's forget.
Yeah, Beb. I didn't. That was my bad, Beb. I mean, you must understand that. I thought he was. I didn't realize he was muted, and I'm talking about him. So, yeah, apologize, Sanic.
Yeah. So all of these perpendiculars to it, they have to be parallel. Otherwise, you can't go with the statement all perpendiculars to a plane will be parallel, because that's proved within geometry. So the very fact you can make a horizontal plane, which is what we proved when we did our shared straight line segment water level test, means that you could put a plumb bob anywhere in that and it would be perpendicular to the horizontal plane. Anybody willing to make a claim otherwise, because it's definitely measurable right angle to a horizontal. It's perpendicular, everyone says that.
not all verticals are parallel, then it's not a vertical. Vertical is not a relative thing, right? And this is they make it like the grid follows you around.
Exactly.
That's
the word. Yeah, it's not relative.
I wonder if that is that
Statement of
done
fact,
on
right?
purpose. On purpose. Horizontals are all perpendicular to verticals. Verticals. Wow. Verticals are parallel, right? Is our plane reference system for your datum. Datum plane, I think they call it. I don't know. There's plenty of geometric proofs for this sort of stuff. Now, is it worth listening to somebody make some shit up? Because it doesn't
That's
seem
not
like
about what you're talking about,
is.
right?
Yeah. Just completely talk about something unrelated, about how they can be perpendicular to the horizontal, yet the horizontals intersect or something. I mean, it's ridiculous listening to somebody say that. I think they've all have heard about it. Right, I'm going to have to start blocking people so we don't hear their messages in the chat. Okay.
Well, can I jump in again, Dev? Like my biggest beef is we know that horizontal is a straight line, not a point, not a part of anything. It's a line, a straight line. And if it's perpendicular, that's 90 degrees. So if we got a 10-mile stretch of water and we have a vertical 10 miles away, it's going to be vertical as well.
If it's, yeah, on the same horizontal plane. Yeah, vertical's always vertical. Horizontal's always horizontal. They never change.
People like Zanuck have one value, is if there's an audience of people that are not familiar with this topic, just listening to him talk, they're going to go like, they're going to do a Scooby-Doo, like, what do you mean pendulums aren't parallel to each other?
You don't even realize the full consequences of what they say.
Nope.
Because he made a mistake. The correct answer is, if you think you live on a model, I can't make a horizontal plane. There's no such thing. They don't even exist. Rumpus told everybody ages ago, horizontal at a point. And that point is on the vertical. So the only place horizontal is actually horizontal on the globe model is where the vertical is. That's all you've got for horizontal. So anybody that says you can make a horizontal plane on a globe model, you don't really know your model well enough.
A point cannot be a horizontal, Beb.
I know. In reality, yeah, the very fact that there is a horizontal and it's defined as horizontal is enough to prove that the globe model's a load of tosh. But people still argue it because they don't understand the geometrical principles about what they're arguing. You can't have verticals not being parallel, because that means the horizontals disappear. There's no such thing as a horizontal at that point. And you can't get rid of horizontals. So you argue about it and just obfuscate. Send in people like Zanuck and Kool-Aid.
And start talking about kids trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Have nothing to do with horizontal.
Yeah, just try and obfuscate the fact. We've heard it all over the last few days. People are willing to just make anything up.
Yeah, they're scared of verticals. They want to call them zeniths, and reciprocal zenith angles. Think that proves something.
Oh, it's all that time-space bullshit that space moves like with you. You don't move through space, right? So verticals are like relative to where you are.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They love that word, huh? Relative.
Well, that is the big
Bro,
problem.
it's like the magic spells, man, right? Like, before you say do the magic, like alakazam or, alakazam, it's like before you do the magic, relativity, right?
Well, everything is relative. I mean, that's what's taught in Euclid. In order for you to compare anything to anything, you need something as your standard. And then once you have that as the standard, then everything becomes relative to that. Till you make a new standard. Everything goes relative to that. Well, in the philosophy, if you become the relative thing, then everything becomes relative to you. Dangerous times.
All calculations, right? And then when you ask what's your baseline, they won't answer, right? They want to leave it open. It's just a calculation. Well, the calculation based on what? I mean, you need to have something, right, that is a fact that you can make calculations on. Straight line, I mean horizontal or vertical. But it has to be something that is true.
You've got to have something that you can establish. In reality, there's only two reference frames that you can actually get. Vertical and horizontal. You can't just say one of them bends and then make the other one disappear because of that. Because you don't know the actual the idea of what you're doing. The model's dictating something, you're going along with it, but without realizing you're doing away with horizontals. That's why I had all of the stress and the hassle with everyone over something so simple. Perpendicular. One of the most basic geometric principles there is. Relationship of a straight line to another straight line, but you need one straight line to start off with it, and then you can make its perpendicular. Well, that perpendicular can't curve, can it? Wouldn't be a perpendicular if it did. I've got George in the YouTube chat as well. We're still looking for George to do his presentation on how to measure the curvature. I'm guessing it's the curvature of horizontal we're looking for now, since that's what's required, right? Not the curvature of level anymore. Let's face it, level and horizontal are the same thing. If you want to curve level, you're going to have to curve horizontal too. Show us a horizontal at a point. The fact that there's no two perpendicular parallel horizontals.
I think Beeble's on that horizontal at a point.
Yeah. There's a lot of them have to. Only the true heavy globe proponents. Most of them believe that perpendicular at a point, maybe word games or something, but it's perpendicular, so which means that horizontal does have a length to it, and any length of a horizontal destroys the globe model. just the model, right? Just the reality still stands like it is: horizontal, vertical, perpendicular, water levels, horizontal plane, all perpendiculars to it will be vertical. Reality stays exactly the same. There's just no way it works on the model. But we know what the model dictates. We've been told that ages ago. That's where the difference is. We just talk about reality. Try not to talk about people's models. That's good. I think we go forward with that tonight. We just talk about reality, no models. See how well we get on. What we can prove in reality and using logic and reality. And also pushing the professionally calibrated plumb bobs on the level. New merchandise range. Part of the DP range. Should we go over that video? Did somebody say there was a video out earlier about plumb bobs? I bet it hasn't got any plumb bobs in it.
I don't think I saw any in that video.
No. That's one of Buster's rules. I think I might employ that.
You know what? I think this would be a good chance for a whiteboard demonstration of two verticals and a horizontal.
I've got.
Then maybe these model defenders would understand.
Yeah, go ahead and add a plane route to it.
A plane route.
Is that?
I mean, how much money you think it would cost to just pay somebody to grab a plane and not stop flying straight in one direction? How much do you think we'd actually have to pay him to do it?
An air ruler.
Did y'all see The Expanse where that dude, like, he was trying to press that girl?
Are you
he flew
suggesting
through the
you
ring?
use an aeroplane as a ruler?
No.
Oh.
I'm suggesting you use an airplane as a navigator.
Right.
No, FAA might have something to
You're
say.
suggesting it doesn't correct for Coriolis, so therefore
Here we
the
go
Earth
again.
would be turning
No.
west to east underneath it.
You know,
The FAA might have something to say.
Yeah, how much do we have to pay somebody to say, fuck the FAA and just fucking keep going?
$1
million
bucks. Right, to go. You can go on mute as well. Who else are we after? Anyone else want to?
Give me a couple 100,000. I'll fly whatever the fuck you got. Straight.
We're not flying. We're staying on the ground.
No, you're not flying.
And horizontals.
You give me a couple 100,000. I'll fly anywhere you want me to.
Yep. I don't want you to fly anywhere. Thank you very much. Anybody got anything without going into the aeroplanes and stick with the vertical and horizontal theme that we're trying to deal with?
What's the timestamp on going up into the air? I'd like to know.
That was quick, wasn't it? And it didn't last long. Within the hour was, well, I think I started at past, so within the half hour for the air ruler meme to come out. And I don't know anybody that does geometry with aeroplanes, and why the reason somebody would try and go to the air seems like as one of the best obfuscation tactics that there is. because you don't get straight lines from aeroplanes ever. So can we try and keep it in reality-based sort of things here? We're talking about reality and trying to stick it to reality all the time. Nobody here can do anything with aeroplanes to test anything with aeroplanes. And where was that before somebody decided to come in with what you need to do?
Looking for that Plumb bot video?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so do you want to go over Plumb Bobs? Since people have been claimed it. I mean, anyone know the best evidence that people have for Plumb Bobs not being parallel? Yeah.
I think we got to add the Plumb Bobs weighing less into the radius of a square. Like, what does it matter how much the Plumb Bob weighs? The weight has no effect on the direction, right? Like, if it's a gram or it's a pound, it's hanging down.
Yeah. That was a new one, bro.
Oh, man.
0.3%. Yeah, that has to go in.
0.3%.
Yeah, I put a logic a bit ago, right? This is quite a bit ago we did. If there's any rotation, then plumb lines cannot be vertical. That still holds true as far as I can see, but Zanuck seemed to be saying they just weigh less. They're still vertical. They just weigh less.
Yeah, but how does that affect their swinging on a freaking
It doesn't,
moving
apparently.
object?
It doesn't.
Yeah. It doesn't.
So what about down on the moon,
why
where
even
they
say
weigh
it?
1/7? It's like down on the moon. It's 1/7 of the gravity. What does that work out to? It's just, oh my god.
About how long it takes the pendulum to swing. They have a formula for it. How fast or the period of the pendulum. And they say it'll be more or less in the moon or on the moon or on Earth or different quote unquote gravity fields, supposedly.
If they make it up. Yeah, I could do that. I could make something up and say this is what should happen in my mailed world. And since there's no way of us checking it, you have to prove it wrong. Which, I don't know. Sounds a bit silly. I know Fight the Flat Earth did one about with the gentleman physicist or whatever swinging a thing. And Fight the Flat Earth was meant to be doing it to prove that he can tell his position anywhere on Earth using nothing but a swinging plumb bob, swinging pendulum. I'm guessing.
I heard they need a Cavendish setup too.
Yeah.
You'd find out the seismic activities compared to the pendulum. Bam, longitude, latitude, baby.
Miles Mathis talks about charge instead of gravity being responsible for some of this stuff. Maybe electrical or charge related, flat or round. May not just be gravity pulling to the center. Or exclusively, anyway.
To the center?
Of the ball.
Whose ball?
Or whatever variation they have.
Whose ball?
Whose indeed.
We're trying to keep off away from the model, so please state what you're saying if you're saying to the
center.
center.
Something different than you.
Okay.
And it tries to offer a bridge between the two parties, the way that you're seeing something versus the way we can see it conceptually. Sometimes modeling helps, sometimes it doesn't.
Sorry, sometimes smiling. Did you say?
Sometimes modeling helps.
How do you model a vertical and a horizontal
something
together?
Versus the way somebody else is perceiving it?
Yeah. How do you model vertical and horizontal?
You can model it with perspective. Vertical lines that are parallel will appear to converge to a point. Or you could get a bird's eye view that gives the overall shape without perspective being taken into account, like looking down a hallway.
Okay, what shapes are horizontal on that model?
In perspective, it would be a parallel line that converges to a point. It would just be straight. But if you're giving a bird's eye view of what it looks like from the side or from another perspective, then you're just going to take into account the overall shape of the object.
Would it ever not be a straight line, a horizontal?
As far as I can tell, no. It would just be horizontal.
So your modelling of it remains vertical and horizontal being straight lines and perpendicular to each other.
Yeah.
So where's
But it
the,
depends
where's
on what
the
you're
bridge
modeling.
to any other model? Like
the eye looking down a hallway, or the bird's eye view of the overall shape of it, like a schematic or a orthographic representation.
T-Mark, don't be so butthurt, bro.
When you're modeling stuff, you need to be specific about what you're modeling.
But if you're modeling vertical and horizontal being straight lines, like where does the other model come into it?
Straight lines appear to converge at a point.
Where's the center?
Dip up, dip down, depending on whether the line is above or below the level of the eyes of the observer. So you'd be modeling the way it looks to a person's perspective, as opposed to modeling the way it's actually, shaped with a bird's eye view.
But if it's always vertical and horizontal as straight lines, where does your to the center come from that you just stated earlier?
That's the conceptual framework of gravity. That's something else.
But why did you say it then?
Because we were on another subject before the conversation moved on.
No, we were on, always have been on plumb bobs and horizontals being perpendicular. That's what we've been on all the time.
And in their conception, they say that the plumb
who's their conception?
Points down toward the center.
Please, who's their conception?
After 5 years in the flat Earth discussion,
who are you talking about?
Globers. If I have to tell you that I'm talking about globers, I don't know what to tell you.
Why are you talking about other people in here?
Because I'm willing to take into account their perspective, since we're going to be talking to a majority of, guess who you're talking to, globers.
Are you a glober?
You're going to bring them over to your side by jumping in their mind.
Are you a glober?
I am not.
Well, why are you talking for them then?
Because you steel man the other side's position. Otherwise,
no, we don't. Like I said at the beginning, please, no models. Just talk about reality.
Models are just ways to conceptually wrap your head around a thing when you can't visualize it. Not everybody is visual. Sometimes they need a model to see the stuff in their head.
But if they're always conceptualizing vertical and horizontal as straight lines, then you cannot make a ball out of it. Until somebody starts mentioning to the center or steel manning somebody else's idea of something that, I don't know, where does the curve come from? Other than you just conceptualizing it for everybody else and then saying everybody else does that.
That's a way to explain why we can't see beyond the horizon.
It's not
they say
a way
that
to
it's
explain.
a curve that's in the way.
You just can't see.
It's just a fraction limit.
Yeah, if you can't see, you can't see. Why do you need to explain it to somebody? Why? I don't need it conceptualizing for me. I don't know if anybody else does. I think they could do it for
Depends
themselves.
on who you're talking to.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to you at the minute. And you say you're not a glober, yet you seem to be talking about their model a lot.
That's because I'm an intellectual. I can entertain an idea without necessarily absorbing it or agreeing with it, simply coming from their perspective so I can better understand their brain and how it works and how I can address certain issues with them or not.
Okay. So
if you're talking logic, you got to think illogically to use that. That's kind of crazy, man. Like, why
you're going to point out the flaw in the logic, it may help, especially if you're going to communicate with someone other than yourself. Or somebody who thinks exactly the way that you do.
Mm-hmm. Well, what if there's a massive flaw in the logic in using straight lines and conceptions of straight lines, and then using the term to the center.
Then you jump in their brain long enough to fix the problem and then jump back out again.
Right, so that's what we're doing. We're sorting it out with you. Why did you steelman a position that you know is a ridiculous one?
Intellectuals can entertain the idea without necessarily agreeing with it or holding it. It's a good exercise. It helps you steelman your position as well, because you get to see your position vis-a-vis another position and help strengthen it.
I'm glad. So everyone can see now, if anybody ever says to the center when we're talking about verticals and horizontals, they'll be able to see how ridiculous it is, because it's just straight lines.
Vertical lines point to a center.
How can they?
And conceptually,
steelman that. Steelman. Keep on it if you want to keep on it. Steelman it. How can verticals be perpendicular to horizontal yet go to the center of something? Keep going with it. Full on geometry.
In their perception, you'd have verticals pointing to a center and local horizontals, whatever the hell.
How big's a local horizontal?
I guess you'd have to ask them.
No, you're the one steelmanning their position.
At this
you
point,
can't steelman their position if you don't know how to steelman their position.
That's it. They don't have questions answered like how big is a local horizontal. I don't think they can answer it even with that framework. That's just the general layout.
No, because I said it at the beginning. On their model, there's no such thing as a horizontal. They don't exist. Horizontal at a point. And it's a bit hard to steelman that position. Because when you don't have horizontals, there's no such thing as perpendicular.
Really a point doesn't have any parts. And in reality, things have parts. They have dimension, they have length.
That's why I say horizontals don't exist on their model.
Doesn't exist.
You're meant to be steelmanning that position. You're meant to be steelmanning the position. You're not doing well.
It can't be steelmanned if the position's illogical at that point. If a point doesn't exist or have extension or parts, you would need to ask them how much it would extend.
I don't need to ask them. You're the one steelmanning their position.
I don't hold the position though.
But you're good at logic, aren't you? You know, you're the good to steal. You know, that's why you came in.
You can ask a Glober and they can tell you.
They can't tell me. We know that. That's why we said they don't come in and with these arguments, because they can't even steelman it. They send in people like you to steelman their position and show everyone that you cannot steelman a position.
People haven't thought it past the general layout. That's it. You'd reach the end of their answers and they'd be like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they lose horizontal. That's the consequence of the model. So it seems a bit ridiculous, you trying to steelman a position. But, I mean, it shows everyone how ridiculous it is to try and come with the globe position.
If you respect the person's position, they're likely to respect yours. You model the behavior that you wish to have in a discussion, and staying on your side of the fence and not even jumping into the other person's mind is a recipe for argument and endless disagreement. We're supposed to come to the table and try to see each other's viewpoint, whether we agree with it or not. At least that's what we're supposed to be doing in an intellectual discussion.
Yep. But this is a geometrical discussion, isn't it? Goes a bit beyond. Vertical and horizontal, perpendicular. That's definitely geometrical, and a very simple geometrical thing. It's just on a model, the horizontal disappears. Unfortunate for people. Even for people that try to steelman the positions of the other people, or to get inside their brains. What do you see when you go inside a Glober's brain when you're talking about that particular argument?
NASA, CGI, curved lenses.
With the vertical and horizontal argument. So it's pretty simple, isn't it? You know. A pretty simple geometric argument. that we've been having for ages. You don't like it though, I guess. You're bored of it. Or the fact that it can't be steel-manned. Shills is predicting you're the next Ranty, Lemon. You sound like you're halfway there. Steelman in
What are you talking about? Ranty went back to the globe with a 2016 argument about why vision isn't perfectly geometrical with these perfect ratios, where an object that's no more than 4 times further away than the shorter object in the foreground should somehow appear taller than the shorter object in the foreground. That doesn't even follow, since vision isn't geometric. Vision is not this geometric mathematical thing where there are units that you can count out like a dozen eggs. Visually, things converge, merge, and disappear, making their visual geometry highly suspect. It has no units to go off of. The units quite literally disappear and merge into the surrounding, making the mathematical treatment that these ratios are derived off unjustified.
Have you done research on that?
Below a shorter object in the foreground, if it's at the right ratio anyway, with or without the math. The math at best is a general predictor, to go with it. Prescriptive. And Ranty going back to the globe based off of questionable math and questionable globe geometry does not.
Have you got any of that math or questionable globe geometry? What is the globe
What is
geometry?
globe?
Yeah, that's a
I was just going to ask that. What's globe geometry?
Yeah, go on.
Dang it.
Steelman
Globe geometry is basically saying predicated off of us looking out into the visual scene, and the visual scene breaking down into some sort of indivisible mathematical unit.
Well,
Since
no,
everything
wait a minute, Lemon. No, you can't say that. So the geometry of the globe is what they see.
Well, make the math
You
unjustified.
keep talking, yeah.
That's globe geometry?
Globe geometry is what you see with your eyes.
But they're also deriving math ratios.
No, wait, no, Lemon, please don't just carry on like that. Globe geometry to you
you're not deriving any
is
understanding
what
from
they
I'm
see
talking
with
about.
their eyes.
My point beyond your endless questions that lead nowhere and don't even help foster any understanding.
I'm trying to understand what you imagine globe geometry to be.
You look at a visual scene and you break it up into units.
That's
These
not how
units are
geometry
assumed to be
works.
preserved for geometry to
That's not how actual geometry works, is it?
That's how geometry is treated with this visual geometry. They
But that's
break it
not
up
geometry.
into sections
You're
and
making
derive
shit
angles
up
off of
by
it and
looking at
distances.
stuff. Like, what
So
have
the
you
globe-
actually
the
researched,
visual
Lemon?
geometry
Please.
is not doesn't have a basis because you don't have individual math units to
Lemon,
base that
please.
math off of.
What have you researched in this, geometry-wise?
Southern Israelite talks about it. Life is Short talks about it. Basically,
Optics.
unless you have an indivisible
You're
mathematical
talking about
unit of some
optics,
sort,
Lemon.
you don't have visual geometry that breaks down
Are you
mathematically. Math
talking
needs
about
indivisible units.
optics, Lemon?
Obviously.
Right, so not geometry. Please don't confuse
When
people.
you're talking about angles, you're talking about geometry.
Yes,
You're
Euclidean
talking about how much
geometry.
distance
Yes.
that angle
Yes.
depends.
That's not
geometry.
geometry. It's not globe
That's visual
geometry.
and application problems.
Try not to cut each other off, guys. Try.
I know.
It's going good.
Lemon,
Try.
Lemon's
Can you
just going to
stop
keep talking.
monologuing?
You're not
best
answering
questions
any
are
questions. You're
unending,
just
and they don't
talking
even
about
help
shit
foster any
and keep going on about it for I don't know what reason. You
And
don't know
Bev
what
just
geometry
asked
is. You think
questions that
looking
go
at things
nowhere.
is geometry, right? I'm going to go and make a brew. You guys have a deal with that. I'll be back in a bit.
I just don't think the question
Aren't
was
they
answered.
just
What's
out
globe
for Bev, but
geometry?
The questions are just interminable, and they don't lead anywhere. They're just
Lemon, can you
unending
stop
questions that lead
monologuing?
nowhere.
Can you stop monologuing and let somebody else
Could
get a
you
word
please
in?
shut up long enough for the person to get out their point without your interminable questions?
I haven't asked any questions. I've said to you,
Just
stop
ask the question.
monologuing.
Stop monologuing. For Christ's sakes, what the fuck?
Stop monologuing.
Come on, Lemon. Come on, guys. Lemon, I never heard you get so mad, bro. What's up?
Just likes the sound of his own
Gets on my
voice.
nerves. These questions are leading nowhere.
I mean, you came in here. Goodness gracious.
No. But wait a
Beth was
second. When
doing
you
was
say
just
it, when you make
monologuing
up a
about how level is
no,
horizontal. And
no,
then
when
I
you
try
make up,
to add some
yeah,
new
but
comments, and I have to be subjected to freaking Bev's freaking interrogation. It's
when you make
insane.
up
And then he
terms, when you make up
implies that
when
I'm
you
a
make up
fucking
terms
gopher
like
when
globe
I've been arguing
geometry,
for the flat Earth
it's
for years.
ridiculous.
What the hell?
When you make up terms like globe geometry, it sounds ridiculous.
Visual geometry. Breaking up
What
the
is
visual scene into angles and getting distances based off of those angles, aka visual geometry. What would you call that?
I would call angles Euclidean. I would call angles Euclidean geometry. Straight lines, angles. I don't know what you're conflating, but it doesn't make sense.
What do you mean, Lemon, by visual geometry?
Like I said, breaking up the scene into packets, parts that you get angles and distances off of. You use that to get tangents, sines, cosines, and other distances.
You mean from like a photograph?
Yeah.
Yes, or just looking out over the scene, yes.
Don't be ridiculous, Lemon.
What's ridiculous about it?
Behind in times.
Silence. But
can't
I'm not
do
going to
anything.
badger you like Bev and the other people
You can't
do when
do
you obviously don't have an answer. I'm going to move on in the conversation and let the conversation move, as opposed to subjecting people to an endless, interminable interrogation that goes nowhere.
If you don't like it, you can always leave, Lemon. You came here, remember?
And you guys are taking the conversation nowhere with these fucking interminable questions.
Well, leave then. If you don't like it, go.
Hold on. Lemon.
See you later.
Lemon, you there?
Yes.
You're never like this. You never swear. You never... Can you not accept being challenged on your idea? I don't understand.
I don't mind being challenged, but the questions are unending. They're not leading anywhere. And
You're
why
the one
am I
that was
getting this?
still man in the globe. You were the one that was fighting the globe corner.
It's not fighting the globe corner to clearly state the opposition's idea. Like I said,
about the idea.
that doesn't mean that I agree with them. It just means that I clearly understand their perspective and can clearly state it. That way we can go forward.
We already came from believing in this stupid globe. So why we got to even talk about it? Let's move forward.
I'd rather talk about the diffraction limit. But the theoretical
We're not talking about
conversation in
optics,
these
though.
Conversations is like non-existent. We can't talk about theory.
Sort up another room. Do optics in another room. Lemon.
Horizontal, and that's
Do
it.
do optics in another room.
And merging with the sky. Could we talk about the diffraction limit? Could we talk about optics?
Another time, yes, we can. Anytime you want, Lemon. You can sort your own. Get a host yourself.
This is the flat Earth community, but we can't even talk about anything theoretical at all.
Please,
we're just stuck on
start your own Lemon's theoretical night. Let's go. Do it, please. Not here though. This is
3 live streams.
Yeah, perpendicular, horizontal, vertical, actual geometry in reality. That's what we're dealing with here.
Of course, we're dealing with reality, Bev.
I know.
We're dealing with the proper interpretation of reality.
You were still modeling a model before that you couldn't defend.
That's where theory comes in.
Yeah.
So you have to see how your opponent.
I don't have to see what you have to do. Because you're getting in other people's heads. I don't want any of that.
Talk about the way people
I'd rather
view
talk
reality,
to people.
Bev.
I'd rather talk to people face to face and not talk to people steel manning an argument after they've got in other people's heads to imagine what they imagine. It's ridiculous. Stick to reality, please, when you're here.
Obviously, we're dealing with reality, Bev.
Okay,
it's trivial to say
okay,
that
then.
we're
So,
just dealing
what
with reality.
research
we're
have
dealing
you
with the way
done?
that they view reality.
What research have you done Lemon, please.
Have I done?
Yes.
I've looked at the YouTube videos from several people like P-Brain, Life is Short, and others.
So
and the
you've
theoretical
watched some
backing that
YouTube
you get
videos.
from that sort of research is pretty telling about the diffraction limit and why we
We're
have
not talking
what appears
about
to be
the
a
diffraction
visual
limit.
obstruction.
Okay, so now we've sussed out that you've watched some videos on YouTube, right? What else have you done personally to research what you see with the verticals and horizontals in
I see
reality?
the flat horizon. I've looked with my own senses and seen the flat horizon. What have you done?
Well, I've done loads of tests.
I've
Optics
just
tests.
put a list in the chat, actually, Bev, of what we've done. Funny that, I just posted them in.
Yeah, that was nice.
There you go, Lemon, have a look in the chat.
Just some of the stuff we've done. I'm just trying to find the first plumb line video, then we can go over that.
Have you done any of that, Lemon?
No.
No. What have you done? Sat and watched some videos?
I've shored up my theory so that I can talk intelligibly to other people about the subject.
So you sat and watched some videos, well done you.
Someone's slagging you off, Lemon
Gotten
Bird.
several different perspectives.
Some videos. I've
That helps in communicating to people.
That's really getting out there and doing stuff, Lemon.
You can talk
If
about
you
more
sitting there
don't
watching
mind,
YouTube videos.
If you're doing it with bad
No.
theory, you can just run your wheels into the ground. It's
I gotta say something though.
You have to have experiment as well as theory to have a nice basis.
I just want to say something real quick, and I'll mute. We the other night we went through all of the definitions and some of the stuff in propositions in book 1 of Euclid. It walks step through step. It's logical. It's irrefutable. And then when somebody comes in and says globe geometry with nothing to back it, it's ridiculous. And you're going to get called out on it.
Well, if we're on a globe, it does make certain geometric claims as well.
Like
but anyway,
what?
I was talking about visual.
Like
more
what?
than anything. The 8 inches per mile squared for one.
What's that? Is
That-
that a geometry?
that's not a
Or is that part of a
That's
function of
angles,
Euclidean
that's
geometry?
distances, that's geometry.
That's Euclidean geometry, yes. It's not globe geometry, it's just Euclidean geometry.
applied to a ball?
A sphere, a three-dimensional object, yes. Now, does that three-dimensional object have a vertical? Yes, it does. One vertical plane, straight through the centre. And one horizontal plane, also through the centre. That's it. As you know. Well, or you should do, anyway. There's no other geometry, is there? Globe geometry doesn't exist. It's not a thing, even. So I don't even know why you're using the words.
You saying Earth is flat and horizontal, Bev?
No, Pete. Did you
No.
just hear me? There's no such thing as globe geometry. What does that mean to you, Pete?
Sure, I get that. I
Okay.
understand that. Because the globe is fantasy, right?
Pete, give me 1 second here. Lemon, maybe it's time to watch some more videos on geometry and further your knowledge, since you didn't seem to know that was Euclidean. So that's all I wanted to say.
At this point, we're playing semantical games. You know what I mean, and I know what you mean as well. Euclidean, globe, square, triangle, whatever the F. But if we're going to play semantic games with each other rather than work out theory, well, then I guess I have some more research to do myself.
Yes, please.
See you later.
Gentlemen.
I'll catch you later. So
I think that was Lemon passing the torch to maybe Pete or whoever's next.
I agree with everything, nearly everything Bev says. And that Lemon Bird for that matter. So.
But the fact that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular doesn't relate to the Earth at all, does it? Or the shape of the ground underneath it at all. There's no relation. Not in my reality, anyway.
But what do you mean? What do you mean? They're applicable to Earth, right? Real Earth, flat Earth. What do you mean?
What, vertical and horizontal?
Yeah, they're applicable.
What do you
Theory,
mean?
as theory is applied to construction or whatever, you know.
To the vertical and horizontal, definitely. Vertical is one reference frame, horizontal is the other.
Right.
Yep. They don't relate to...
Is Lemonbird disagreeing with that? Is anyone disagreeing with that?
But somebody seemed to say to the centre. Well, if you have vertical being perpendicular to horizontal, then you can't have a to the centre. It just doesn't exist. So there's a, I don't know, cog-dis relationship there somewhere.
Well, what's Lemonbird reference in the centre of what? What's he saying?
Lemon, I don't know. Lemon was steel man in the globe position, but then didn't want to steel man it once it realised that there's no chance that you can actually steel man it. But still wanted to talk about it. Conflate the idea that there might be a geometry involved around the optics to still try and steel man it, and then steel manned it all the way to globe geometry. And then when asked about globe geometry, said it was just a matter of semantics and we knew what was meant anyway. Seemed to be a baseless claim after baseless claim to end up with semantics. Honestly, that's the way I saw it. Did you not see it like that?
I just came in at the end there, so I know Lemonbird, for the most part, the very most part, is right on par. He's right on key. So I didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, let's leave it, Lee. Let's move on.
Right, so.
But of course, we know that the ball has no existence as given. So, but when you talk about these concepts in vertical, horizontal, they're applicable to reality. I mean, are you denying that they're applicable to reality?
They're not concepts, are they? Vertical and horizontal are definitely existing in reality. That's what they are. They're not geometrical concepts, vertical and horizontal. They're in reality. That's where they are.
Well, not really, man. Not really. I mean, vertical, can you get something that's absolutely vertical in relation to a horizontal, absolutely 90 degrees? I should say you can't get that in reality.
Yeah. Plumb bob's perpendicular.
Ooh, I got a good one.
Yeah, but you're always going to be off. You're not going to be 90.0000 exactly, right? So it'll never be precisely vertical or horizontal.
How do you know, Pete?
It's a theoretical relationship.
What do you mean? Please explain.
Just like you can't get a straight line in reality, you can't get something that's absolutely vertical to
Are you saying
horizontal.
A professionally calibrated plumb bob is not vertical?
Absolutely, it's not absolutely vertical. You can never get anything absolutely at 90.000 degrees. You can never do that. You can never achieve that in practicality. Close enough, close as be damned, but never exact. The theory.
What do you mean you can never? How do you know that?
Come on, man. Come on.
No, I want you to tell me. How do you know you can't achieve that? Please.
It's impossible to achieve. That's perfect precision. Perfect precision is impossible.
How? Do you know that?
I know that. Do you deny that?
I deny that you don't know how you measured that.
We measured it?
Yeah.
Well, show me something that's perfectly vertical to something.
No, Pete, you were the one that said you can't do it. Now, don't flip this round and do the general baller thing and tell me that I have to prove that I can
Control your attitude a little, Bev. Control your bloody attitude a little here.
Go on.
Take it easy, man.
Yeah.
Anyone else here want to jump in and say that there's no such thing as a
You made the
90
claim,
degree
Pete,
in
that you
reality?
cannot have a true plum, I'm guessing, with a plum. Yeah, there's no such thing.
You cannot have exactly 90 degrees meeting exactly horizontal, 0 degrees. In reality, it's a theoretical thing. You might get to 89.99, but you'll never get it perfect. Come on. Your problem with that.
It's called a right angle Pete? Are you saying
No, it is.
all
Right
right
angle on
angles
paper.
are
That's theory.
wrong?
That's theoretical.
Okay, but they are
Hey,
tools
can I-
that we
can I
use in
ask-
It's not
reality.
theoretical. You can hang a plumb bob, a nice weighty plumb bob, and that line will be, of course, it will be vertical. It can't be anything other than vertical. It is vertical.
Yeah, Pete, let me ask you a question real quick. What would keep it from being vertical?
Just precision, just practicality. You can never get. You tell me you can get spot on 90 degrees with that, or you can measure it. If you say drop a plumb bob, hang on. If you say drop a plumb bob, how are you going to measure the angle between that and the horizontal?
It is vertical, Pete.
Yeah, this is Pete, this is an on-off thing. It's not a measuring, right? That's why we've brought it up before that there are no numbers in this, right? So the plumb bob, when you're talking about precision, you're talking about your ability to quantify your imagination, right? Because the plumb bob's just hanging. It's vertical, up and down. Now, if you want to try and put a number to that, of course you're never going to put an exact number because there is no exact number. It's up and down. That's why you can't put an exact number to it.
Right. Or measure an exact angle at 90 degrees. How are you going to measure 90.00?
But you don't measure 90. 90 is you're putting the number, which is the measurement. This is vertical and horizontal. They're just, you don't, it's like true, it's yes or no, right? There's no measuring of.
I get what you're saying. On paper, yes, you can have perfect 90-degree angles, like you can have perfectly straight lines, but you cannot do that in reality. You cannot achieve that in reality.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Yes, you can.
In reality, when we're talking
hanging perfectly straight,
the perfectly straight would be the highest level that we can achieve. Now, if we hang a plumb and that's vertical, right? Now, the best we can measure, right, is that. Now, because we can't get any finer measurement, doesn't make that not down anymore, right? It's still what it is. Like, it doesn't not become. Our perfect is what we can establish. That's how it comes down to.
Yeah, but he should answer the question. What stops it from? How does it not hang perfectly, Pete? It has no choice but to hang perfectly until you tell me how it doesn't.
The thickness of the wire, the thickness of the
The
bob.
thickness of the wire has nothing to do
Ask
with
me a
it.
question. It's something is
It has
suspended.
nothing to do with
bob
it.
is suspended from something. When you transfer the ideal mathematics to reality, sure you're going to get. Sure the representation transfers, but in terms of practical measurement, you will never be able to measure an exactly 90-degree angle. What's wrong with you?
Practically,
I'm sure we never use these tools. That's why.
Hold on a second. That's not the question I asked.
Then.
Pete, I never said anything about measuring a 90-degree angle. I said, what stops the plumb bob from hanging perfectly straight up and down? The best you came up with was the size of string, which I politely interrupted and said that has nothing to do with how something hangs straight up and down.
Right.
Okay, so...
Plumb bob. Yeah, okay, a plumb bob. So can you get a perfectly horizontal floor?
Never mind that. I said, what stops the plumb bob from hanging perfectly straight up and down?
Okay, well, I'm hanging straight up and down. We have the thickness of the string, first of all, right?
Okay, how does the thickness... Okay, hold on.
Let's not lose control here.
How does the thickness of the string affect the ability to hang
straight up and down? How are you going to measure the angle? What are you going to measure the angle between?
Never mind measuring angles. I asked you what stops it from hanging perfectly straight up and down.
Who demands answers? Who's this guy? Who's speaking?
My name's God Scalpel. You said the thickness of the string, so I'm asking, how does the thickness...
crew?
I'm not a part of anybody's...
Oh, what does that matter? Just checking.
Clearly, you don't fucking know me. I don't fucking care about any crews, okay? I have a fucking question. It has nothing to do with the crew. Is that your way of getting out of answering a simple fucking question?
No, you're
bro. Is that right to hand? That's right to hand, bro. Don't talk to him, Pete. That's right to hand.
Dickhead here with your attitude.
I'm not being a dickhead. You're the one that's accusing me of being a part of some fucking crew.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Part of Ben's crew because there's a big number here, and there's a lot of people on Ben's crew.
Okay, back to the question. How does the thickness of the string affect the plumb bob's ability to hang perfectly straight up and down?
It doesn't. It doesn't
Okay.
in the sense that
Perfect,
when you
I
measure
agree.
when you're measuring right angles or 90-degree angles, right? it's the vertical in relation to the horizontal.
Okay, listen, I don't care about right now. I don't care about that shit. My question is simple.
Don't care what you care about.
So you don't want to answer the simple question then?
Yeah, but just calm it down a bit. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at?
Okay, well, stop obfuscating my question then. My simple question is what stops the plumb bob from hanging perfectly straight up and down? You initially said the thickness of the string, and then you recat it and said it doesn't. So the question still stands.
So the original point was in relation to vertical in relation to horizontal, right?
No, I don't care about relationships.
Well, that's what I was talking about originally.
That's fine. My question is
when you transfer the theory to reality, you'll never get an exact
The plumb bob is reality, dude. What
Yes,
stops
you'll
the
never
plumb
get
bob?
an absolutely horizontal floor.
I don't care about floors. I'm asking you what stops the plumb bob from practically hanging perfectly straight up and down?
Nothing.
There you go. So you have a perfect straight up and down vertical line.
Can I make a point?
You have to have that relation to something, though.
Wait a minute. I've been waiting here, right?
No, it's not in relation to anything.
wait.
That's your starting point.
Please.
Paul. That's your 0 point. It's not in relation to anything. You make everything in relation to that.
Can anyone hear me?
So, Dodo, what do you mean? You won't get a
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Hold on. The person that has this show is trying to talk, guys. Please let Bev in.
I'll go on mute.
Right. So, if a plumb bob's hanging down, and one of the basic principles, as we know, within Euclidean geometry, is all right angles are equal, then around that plumb bob, there are 360 degrees of right angles to the horizontal plane that's underneath it. Now, you're saying it's going to be not 90 degrees in one, which means it's not more than 90 degrees in the other, on the opposite side of it. So the reason a plumb bob hangs 90 degrees perpendicular to the horizontal is because it's a point that's hanging down a line to a plane. That plane has a full 360 degrees of right angles to that one vertical.
Yeah, but that's theory. That's in theory.
That's
I know
not
there's
theory.
transfers to practice.
No.
Hang on, Bev. I know
That's
transfers to
actual
practice,
reality.
but you'll never get a perfect right angle. Are you saying you can achieve a perfect right angle in reality?
Absolutely, yes.
To absolute precision, 90.0 recurring.
Yes, there are precision tools
yes,
that
you
do
can.
that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Bloody hell.
Well-
How do you think you make floors? What an idiot.
I'm saying it's as close. You can get it as close as
Have
you
you
can,
ever
but
seen
you
an
can't get it
A4
exact.
paper?
Sake. Can't believe you said that, though.
Have you ever seen a page of A4 paper or A5? Have you ever seen a square?
Yeah, the numbers.
What about the container?
The numbers just represent reality, right? Like, if the floor is flat, the floor is flat. Like, the numbers that you're put to them are not going to change. You know, like I said, just because you can't pick a particular number doesn't make, like, we don't have absolutes.
That's in mathematics. Mathematics deals in idealism, right? But when you transfer it to reality, you will never get a perfect. Like, you can never draw a perfect circle in reality. You agree with that, right? But it's easy to.
No, I don't.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that either.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What is a compass for?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
come on.
That's what you got, the compass. Ball bearings. Come on, man. Engineering.
I
Precision
agree
is
with
what
what
it's
you're
all
saying.
about.
I
A compass
In
in a
reality,
square.
you have perfect spheres in reality. Come on. What are you talking about?
Where? Give us an example of a perfect sphere.
In engineering, for example.
Oh, come on, guys.
No, you do not, man.
Wait.
You do not have perfect
We've
spheres.
just gone from plumb bobs and horizontal to now perfect spheres. Have you not seen this? This is a classic ball of tactics. I'm ashamed of you, Pete.
Listen, Bev, he mentioned
I don't know how
spheres.
you managed to get to spheres. I mean, where did you get? Where
He
did
got
that
to
come
spheres.
from?
He's mentioning spheres.
I thought it was you, wasn't it?
Well, you're wrong,
You said
Bev,
the
so you might
circle.
apologise.
You said the
realising you're
circle, didn't
wrong.
you? You went straight to the circle.
Yes, and do you agree with me?
What?
Can you get a perfect sphere in reality, in engineering? Can you engineer a
sphere?
perfect sphere? Yes or no?
Sphere now. I thought you were at a circle. I thought you didn't.
Right.
How many
sphere up.
horizontal
I asked
lines
you,
to,
did you
to make
agree
a
with me when you
sphere?
mentioned the circle and you didn't answer?
They make ball bearings, don't they? Ball bearings.
Yeah, ball bearings, exactly.
Yes, but they're not
And they,
perfectly
they
curved.
have to be, don't they, to keep it running? That's the whole principle of them. If they're
A circle
not
would-
round,
a
they
circle
won't
They're
work.
not perfect. You understand that?
There's
You
not
can
a single
specify-
ball bearing out there that's perfect.
You can
make a
specify-
circle.
We are still on spheres again, right? And we're
Oh, I
on
can bring
perpendiculars.
spheres. I asked for a perfect
I don't know
circle.
why
Can
you
go
went to
perfect
spheres
circle
again.
in there?
You went straight back
Speaking
to
of
it.
perfect circles, the ball has no perfect circles for perfectly motionless seeming Earth, so it kind of
Ball
proves our
deals in
point.
ideal math. That's exactly what gives the ball life. Ideal math.
What?
Yeah, he hasn't got a clue what he's
He's in
talking
control
about.
of this shit.
Yeah.
Hang on. So hang on, please.
No.
There's a lot of
What do
cheek
you mean,
here for
hang
some
on,
reason.
Pete? Hang on from what? Hang
What's
on
wrong
from
with you?
continuing on with his show and not listening to you. Like
Oh,
what?
well, I didn't. First of all, I didn't know it was a show, but your attitude fucking
Well, it
sucks,
is.
man.
It is, and I'm hosting it, Pete.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
thanks for coming in. We've got people on the YouTube.
Well,
Let's see what they
how many
think of
them
it.
agree
Like,
with
what do
me
you
that
think
you
of
can't get a
Pete?
perfect sphere or a perfect circle. You cannot draw a perfect circle
gotta
in
go.
reality, or you can
Pete's
never get a
talking
perfect
about
sphere.
circles. Is that all right? No, they're saying
What's
no,
the-
Pete.
But what is the deal with this argument for perfect? I'm honest to God, don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
What is why?
If a circle is just a distance from a point, we can measure a distance and then just keep it going around the point.
Well, again, you're measuring a distance to a tolerance. So, Pete is right in the fact that you can't have a perfect circle the same way as you can't have a perfectly straight line. And according to Bev, if it deviates at all, then it's not a line.
Straight line.
It's not a straight line.
Yep. Because I know what straight is, right? Straight doesn't deviate from straight, otherwise it becomes.
Yeah, and the
line.
line is a one-dimensional thing because it has no breadth, it only has length. And you apply
You've
it to a
been
surface,
listening
which is
to us
two
do the
dimensions.
definitions.
No, I haven't.
Oh well, we did it the other day. We were all up to speed on that. Yeah.
That's
I haven't heard anything that you said in about 3 weeks back.
Oh.
Because I'm still trying to work out whether you deny non-Euclidean geometry.
Oh, you've been stopped thinking about me though, have you? You might not have listened to me, but I've been in
Not
there
at
in
all,
your head.
Bev.
What's up, Dross?
One of the problems with this is when you're like, oh, the error. And it's like, well, error from what? And it's like, the actual. Well, what is the actual? Well, our closest measurement. Well, there you go.
Yeah, the ideal.
Well, no, the actual is the ideal.
Yeah.
And because we always have tolerances in measurements, you never hit
That's
the
all
ideal.
I'm saying. That's all I was
So
saying. What the hell's
therefore,
wrong with that?
you can say that, the way we view Euclidean geometry is the same as way as we view Platonic objects.
What?
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Just objects, things, right? Things we see, and we can describe them using Euclidean geometry, right? In Euclidean 3 space.
Well, the trouble is when you want to try and actually do that in reality, you can't because you're always
Of
going to
course
have
there is.
deviation.
There's a square, there's a circle, there's a triangle.
Yeah,
How many
show me-
angles
show
has
me-
that
show me-
triangle
show me a
got?
perfect-
Ooh, 180.
Show me a perfect square with 4 90-degree angles.
Go on. Have you
So
never
the
seen a
measure of
square?
error because the straight line has a measure of error like at the 0.0001, it can't be perfectly straight. That means it forms a ball.
Have you never seen a
No,
square,
it means it
Truss?
deviates, which means it's not a straight line.
Truss,
Yes.
have you
According to
never
what
seen a
Bev says.
square?
What a stupid question. You want
Well,
to
you
ask
said
something
to
sensible?
show you a square.
No, a perfect square.
Well, if
Yeah,
I
you
show
ever heard
you a
about-
square, will you say it's perfect or not perfect?
Well, you'd have to compare it.
Would you know it's a square?
I would say we would colloquially classify it as a square, but again, a perfect square is like a perfect, is like a Platonic object.
It's like the
It's not
perfect
ideal.
woman. You're never going to find it, right?
Exactly.
Right. So why are
Right.
you asking for
So-
it? Like, what
so-
what is the point? I think Buster said that
Because
earlier.
you're the one who always goes for
What's-
perfect.
What's the
You're the one
accuracy
that
thing
says it
for?
exists, Bev.
What's the accuracy thing for? What is the purpose of saying you can't ever have a perfect square? What's the point of it?
Well, let's just let's simplify it down for you
It's
and
just a
say,
philosophy,
okay, a
right?
line. If a line deviates at all from straightness, it is not a straight line. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Cool. So, can you draw a line with 0 deviation?
You know what you need to draw a straight line?
I think you can using a precision instrument. Yes, you can.
No.
Yes.
No.
You can.
No.
What,
All you need for a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points.
It's not what he asked, Dev. He asked if you can draw a straight line with 0 deviation.
Right.
Yes
and then
or
he's
no?
going to say a line is 1D.
Just
so you
answer
can't
the question
actually
first,
draw
Bev.
it.
I will even grant you that, you know, the lines that we draw on a piece of paper have width and a little bit of depth. I'll grant that. Cool.
I don't know who's talking. Who are we talking to? Because there's somebody else seemed to jump in then for a bit. I mean,
no, I
James
waited for
having
him
a
to
go.
finish.
Sorry.
I waited for him to finish, and then I made my point. So I'm granting you that yes, when we lay graphite or some material down on a piece of paper, it has a bit of width and it has a bit of depth, but we're going to class it as a line. So can you draw that line with 0 deviation from straightness?
Yeah, it's postulate 1, isn't it? That
No, I
line
want
may
you to
be
draw- I
drawn
want
from
you-
one point to another.
Yeah, that's the postulate. That's the ideal.
Yep.
So what I'm asking, in reality, can you do that?
It says, let it be granted that you can. Yes, that's the first postulate.
Yeah, because it's an axiom. An axiom is an assumption.
It's a postulate.
Which is based on the 10 axioms of Euclid.
No, it's not. It's a postulate.
So the axioms have nothing to do with the postulates?
I've got 12 axioms and they are nothing to do with the 3 postulates. Yes, true.
What's a postulate, Bev, please?
Oh, fucking hell. We did go over this the other day. Do you want us to do the whole Euclid thing again?
Just a brief definition for anyone who's not sure. What's
a postulate is what can be done for you to work through the diagrams or the propositions within Euclid to find the proofs. It's what can be done.
Let's actually do the proper definition of postulate. A postulate suggests or assumes the existence, the fact or truth of something as a basis for reasoning. It is an abstract. Do you want to carry on, Bev?
It's conceptual.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with you, Pete. And it's very rare that you and I agree, and this is one of the points where I do.
Let it be granted that. I can read them out for you if you want.
Yes. And you're saying, let it be granted that, and I'm saying it's a postulate, which means it assumes the existence.
It says, let it be granted that, yes.
Yeah. That's why, because you know what happens when you try and justify something that's axiomatic or a postulation? It is no longer axiomatic and it is no longer a postulation.
Don't be silly.
Do you understand that?
Don't be silly. I know where you're going to be trying to go here, but that's not where we're taking it. This is the definitions. We're still at the definitional.
Yeah, I'm on the definition of the word postulate.
The definition.
A thing suggested or assumed as true.
Perpendicular. Yeah, the definition of the word perpendicular comes before the postulates and the axioms.
So
can we just sort that first, seeing as we're going to go through
I
the
want to keep down
logical
this path. I
statement
don't want to deviate from the point we're on.
Well, that's what we are on. We're on perpendicular. That's what the show's about tonight. Perpendicular. Now, if you want to go into the axioms and the postulates of geometry,
no, I want to talk about lines.
You want to talk about lines? Well, it's a relationship of 2 lines, 2 straight lines to one another.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is that if we have a line which is a one-dimensional thing, we can only apply that to a surface which is 2-dimensional. So when we're talking about the shortest point between 2 points, it's the shortest point between 2 points on a surface. So I can draw that approximation of a shortest
in 2-dimensional geometry,
2 points.
2D geometry.
Yeah,
geometry.
And then I can wrap it around a cylinder I haven't altered
That
that
would be
line at all.
three-dimensional
All I've
geometry.
done is, it's still the surface is still two-dimensional. I've just
a
wrapped that
developable
plane
surface,
around
yes.
an object. Yes, it's a developable surface.
All right, you go in
So-
hyper here, Druss. I mean, you need to calm down a bit, please.
I'm absolutely calm, Bev. I don't know why you keep trying to get.
Well,
an
I don't know
emotional
where
reaction
you're
out of me.
going with this, right?
I know, that's because
You're
you're not
just sort
listening.
of blurting it all out. Like, I know you might be jealous that we did a Euclid thing the other day. Now, you can do one
Okay,
of your
I'm
own.
fed
There's
up with
no
these
need to
little
speed
subtle
do
digs.
your geometry here with us tonight.
Okay,
Druss,
so I've got a bit of a
please.
problem with this because you keep making personal attacks on me.
It's
I'm
not,
not
a
really
personal.
gonna have that.
You'd be better
Not
out of
on-
here then,
not
Druss.
the
So
way
I
we
mean,
run
don't
things on the
listen,
server.
Druss.
So
Please
once again,
listen.
I will withdraw.
Listen, Druss, please.
I think I made my
this
point.
is Druss. This is the show
I'm
that
happy
I've got
for you to
on,
continue the
and I am
discussion.
live
Try
hosting
and
this
treat
right
people in a
now.
better way.
This
You're
is
being
very
to me.
rude of you,
Stop
Druss,
it.
to come in here and do this. Very rude indeed. I'm.
Bev, don't pretend things are wrong
Who's
because
that?
you're stuck.
Who the hell's that? Another one.
That's Ed.
Ed, yeah, definitely.
Ed
Mute
Freeze
Ed. I'll
enters
mute,
the
mute
picture.
Ed. That's definitely. Where is he?
But hang on, Bev. Druss was
Wait a
not
minute.
being dramatic, and he was talking about very cogent issues here. I don't understand where you're coming from, but if you have a different,
We were
direction
talking
for the
about
show-
perpendicular, Pete, and I know
Okay.
it's a bit of a takeover, and you've all been told to come in
No.
and disrupt. But we're talking
I
about perpendicular. Now, wait a minute. Now, Druss seemed to go on about making a piece of paper and then turning it round and making a tube, a cylinder. Now, I don't know how that relates to perpendicular at all. But Druss seemed very keen on telling us that. Like, you decided you wanted to tell us about a circle, which, again, not an awful lot to do with perpendicular and vertical and horizontal.
Okay,
They're
thank
very
you, Bev. Let me
basic
say-
concepts, I know, but we went through these the other day.
Okay. So let me just clarify. No one gives me any instructions or orders. I came in probably when I did come in, I just arrived. So I wasn't aware of the greater dialogue or discussion that's going on. And let me just clarify for everyone here. I just said it already, Bev. I agree with absolutely everything you say. Everything you say. We're getting to the finer points here, is all. And Dross
Just
is
time
talking
wasted.
about the finer points. Well, let me just say this, right? Math is an ideal situation. That's what I said about the globe. The globe doesn't exist. It's ideal applied mathematics. That's what it is. That's all it is. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
There's no such thing in reality as a line. If a line is a point is an instance of zero dimensionality, we can't show that in reality. It's all about the translation between the ideal and the real. And I think that's what Dross is aiming at, but I have no one sent me in, nor do I have any affiliations with Dross or anyone else for that matter. So
Okay.
I'm done there.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your input.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I cannot let it pass. I'm sorry, I need to object to that. A line you are brushing over, yeah? It's a straight line we're talking about, because either horizontal and vertical, we're talking about straight lines. So, a question for you: when does a horizontal line starts to curve?
You're asking me, George?
Yes, Pete.
Please.
Okay. Well, when does a horizontal line? Well, the minute you start drawing it. The minute you start drawing a line, first of all, how are you going to achieve a line in reality when a line is 2 points? The straightest distance. Well, a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points, which is one-dimensional. You can't give an example of one-dimensional line in reality, and the same thing with the points. So when does it start becoming curved? The minute you start to draw a line. The minute you try to replicate a line in reality. Give me an example where you can give me a line in reality and say to me...
Pete, have you ever drawn a straight line in your life? Can I ask you, please?
I give you a physical line, I give you what the other lines. There's so many different
there you go
issues
then.
in order to
What's
achieve
wrong
straight
with that?
lines.
One second, please. Let me clarify one thing, because Dross said it. It shows the perfect square. The more you zoom in on the angle, right, at each corner, 90-degree angle, the greater the ability you have to zoom in, the more you will see a deviation ever so slightly.
Why do you want to
from
do that
the
for?
absolute. Because then it's not an absolute, it's not a perfect square, and Dross asked for a perfect square.
Yeah, but you can
Can
go.
you come with
and it's so
absolutes
funny.
again?
Talking about a vertical
When does
bumble.
does a horizontal line, all of a sudden turns into a ball or a sphere or a curve?
I'm not saying
When?
that. It
They'll
doesn't.
say
It
they
doesn't at
will
all.
say
That's
the
stupid.
they'll say the same exact thing with a curve, right? They're like, oh, well, and I hate to use the they, but it's this argument, right? Like, oh, well, if you zoom in on a curve, you can't make a curve because you're just connecting a whole bunch of points, which is straight lines. So a curve is actually a whole bunch of straight lines, but you can't make a straight line because there's always deviation. It's just round and round it goes.
Hang on, right the hand. I'm a flat earther here, bud.
I don't care what you are. I'm just listen
Yeah.
here. This is the idea.
Okay,
if you're
so
saying
you
we have you're making no absolutes, right? And I'm saying there are absolutes. And just because you're saying we can't put an absolute number, you can, right? You can put an absolute number. Look, 4 inches. Oh, we measure 4 inches. Well, is that exactly 4 inches? Yeah, it's 4 inches. Well, I can, and then you get into this thing of this just cycle of, if just like I said, it's you connect 2 points, which is a straight line, but it's not straight, it's curved, but you can't have a curve because it's actually connecting points which are straight lines, and it's just this cycle of logic you can't get out of. You got to have absolutes, you got to have standards.
Let me respond to that just briefly. You agree with me, you know it. No matter what square you present, there will always be a deviation from 90 exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Come on.
Ideally, it doesn't transfer to reality, even if it's 0.0000001.
But there's the only way you can know there's a deviation. The only way you can know there's a deviation is if you had the exact one there to compare it to. So what we have to compare it to, that's the perfect. That's it. You can't say,
That's it, isn't it? And everything must have a thickness in reality. So no matter how thin you make the line designating the 4-inch mark, as you zoom in on it, there's always going to be that slight deviation. Come on.
Trying to split the atom.
Let's get real.
Wasting time.
Yeah, basically what he's saying is, how do you know a 1 meter
You can't know anything.
object
That's what
has a
Pete's
meter?
saying is you can never know anything for sure. So
that's why there's a meter standard.
We don't want that round here, Pete. That's not what we're after. I'm sorry, but we're definitely not after that bullshit of arguing over everything to the finest fucking detail. You know who else does that, Pete?
Who does that?
Do you know who else? What other type of people that I know do have those sort of arguments?
I don't know. People that won't commit to anything?
People that have a model, Pete.
Have you a model, Bev?
No.
So when you say a horizontal is horizontal,
yeah,
have you no greater context to place that horizontal within when you take it to reality?
Yeah, I know what it is in reality. That's the point.
How do
Pete.
you?
Yes.
What's it in relation to?
The horizontal is the horizontal. That's your reference frame that you base everything from. That and vertical, they're the two.
You haven't said what Earth is.
I don't need to say what Earth is, Pete.
Think about it.
It's the stuff underneath my feet as I'm standing and I'm measuring horizontal and vertical. Is that good enough for you?
I agree with you, man, in that sense. But the thing I don't agree with you in is that you have to place everything. You're thinking you're being within a greater context. It's only when you have the context right that maybe horizontal is possible, a straight line is possible.
What do you mean? You have to do what, Pete? What are you telling me I have to do?
Then, for instance, let me tell you then.
Put
let me
what
give you
in a greater context? What, Pete?
Yeah, but take it easy. Let me give you an instance, right? For instance, if there was
Pete,
a barrier
you've just said, words are important.
I'm giving
to
you
me,
the example.
Pete. You've just said you have to place yourself in a greater context. Well, what greater context? Explain that first.
So, I will. And I was just about to do that when you came in, all energized and whatever. But anyway, for instance, if there is a barrier above and you draw a straight line on a barrier, it will be curvilinear. Would you agree with that?
Pete, what greater context?
Hey guys, I'm gonna go down in the room.
Context is a reality, Bev.
So if anybody wants to join me in the next room, get into some other conversations, you can follow me.
See you later, Dicelo.
Greater context is our reality. You, the being, your brain, the math in your brain and your being.
So I have to place myself in a greater context, but I'm already there, am I?
Yeah, of course you are.
So why do I have to place myself in a greater context then, Pete?
Because now you're stuck in math. You're stuck in math.
I'm not stuck anywhere, Pete. I'm talking to you. You're telling me I have to place myself in a greater context to understand horizontal. But I do understand horizontal, Pete.
Why are you so excitable about this?
Because you're telling me that I have to do something for some reason, Pete. Why do I have to do it?
Okay, I'll give you an answer.
What do you know about horizontal, Pete?
Notice how calm I am.
Yeah. What do you know
you-
about horizontal? Start off with that first, and then how
Okay.
you can teach me. Go on.
Horizontal, Horus and Zion. Both of those are incorporated within the word. Horizontal is referenced via something else. It cannot be on its own horizontal. Therefore, any line is horizontal. It has to be in reference to something else. Understand?
What's it in reference to then?
Well, you can pick any angle you like, but a vertical generally. A vertical, so an opposing.
Parallel to the
aspect
plane
it.
of the horizon, right?
Yeah, but the plane, you see, when it comes to a plane, are you talking about a plane in reality?
Talking about what a plane is in geometry, right?
Right.
It's a way to
So
describe
that's- you
something.
agree that's
The
ideal, an
semantics of the
ideal
words. You know, understand what a plane is semantically.
No, I just wanted you
Do you
to
understand?
clarify whether
I'll
were
tell you
talking-
if you don't know what a plane is semantically.
You were more humble when you came on the scene first of all, Bev. I think I preferred that, Bev.
Two-dimensional.
I wouldn't say
isn't
you're
it?
two-dimensional, Bev, but
A
you were
plane.
certainly more humble.
A plane is definitely 2D.
Is that an ideal
It's
two-dimensional
a way
plane?
to describe something, isn't it?
Right.
Yes.
I agree with you in math, which is an idealization.
So a horizontal is parallel to the plane of the horizon.
You know something?
Always.
You should be a flatter earther than every other flat earther. You should be the first to say I'm a flat earther. Would you agree?
It's not flat, Pete. So no, I wouldn't agree with you at all.
What do you mean Earth is not flat?
I mean, Earth is not flat. What do you mean? I mean.
Okay, so
the
you
Earth
mean okay?
is not
okay.
flat.
Sure. I agree with you.
Pete.
I agree with you. But when we
Because
take it
flat
by
is
scale,
not an orientation, is it, Pete?
Hang on. No, it
You
isn't.
don't think flat's an orientation, do you?
No, it's not.
Okay. So you think what's
It's a
flat?
relationship.
2D.
But
It's like 2D.
okay. Oh,
A
Jesus,
visual.
man.
It's a visual surface condition. Flat.
You remember I mentioned? Okay, you're actually look, Bev. You're actually going to make me right. What I said about the square and the 90 degrees or whatever.
I'm
Because
going to
when it
make
comes
you
to
right.
scale- wait, listen to me. So when it comes to scale, oh sure we have mountains 30,000 feet high, and sure we have valleys, clefts, etc.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to scale of the Earth, the known scale of the Earth, can you say that Earth is flatter than a snooker ball is smooth or
know
spherical?
what scale you're talking about. You have to know the whole. don't
Scale
you?
of the Earth, yeah,
You have
the
to-
Earth's surface.
Yeah, you have to know
We
the
know.
whole to get the scale right.
The stuff we know. The stuff we
The
know.
scale. The 1 to 50,000, the scale map that I've got here.
What would you say?
Ordnance
What would you say? Let
survey.
me just roughly. What would you say the maximum?
Bro, this
whatever
is sounding
Earth
like Big E worship right now.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Big
yeah.
E.
No, no, hang on, please. Hang on,
Yeah,
please.
you're
He's
putting.
fighting.
You're
He
making
hasn't
the
got a
Earth
model.
thing.
He hasn't got a model.
No,
You're
no,
making
let
the
me
Earth
clarify, man. Right the hand. Let me clarify briefly to Bev. Okay, the way I take it, right, the Earth is at least, let's say, 15,000 miles across. If it's a circle, that'd be the diameter. If it's a square, let that be the diagonal. 15,000
radius.
miles. Would you agree in and around that?
Not having a radius of a square. Could have used a radius for.
Why are we
couldn't you?
imagining a size of a thing?
Because
Because
Bev
he
said
wants
Earth
to
is not
prove
flat.
he doesn't know what scale is.
No, why are you against me here, Bev? You said
It's
the Earth
not
is not
flat.
flat, but I said
Pete,
it's
we're not
flat.
against
Yeah.
you. We're against the argument. Why are look? If you're coming to us and you're like, here, you need to imagine that the Earth is this certain size. Like, why? Like, what are you trying to establish?
What I'm trying
here?
to say then is, okay, forget about the Earth being a certain size. If you don't want to talk about Earth for some reason, but if you have a scale, let's say a center point and
So 1
a
to
circle of a
50,000
radius.
on the
Let's
map
say
that I've
for
got
the-
here.
we know, hang on, please. We know certain things, Bev. Let's say a circle with a radius of fucking 5,000 miles. Would you agree that you could do that on Earth?
What? Could you do
you
a
could do that,
circle?
and you could encompass all
Could
of
you
the
do a
land.
circle? Yes, you could definitely do a circle. Yes. Yeah. Do you think you could
Mark
do a circle?
5,000 miles from a point. Yeah, that'd be easy. You would just go like,
it's center.
Circle.
Yeah.
yeah, you would just make a point. And you would walk. You would
Like a big
measure
massive
5,000
compass.
miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Take a long time, bro.
Thank you. No, that's grand. That's fine. That's fine. And me and you, right, the hand are flat earthers. So I say we live in a flat and stationary surface. Let me clarify. I agree with Bev. Of course, Earth is not flat. It has all of these different ridges, contours, and stuff. But
Brilliant.
by scale,
let's not
said to be
saying
flat.
it's flat. Then, if it's
by
not
scale,
flat,
it could be said to be
if
flat.
we've agreed that it's not flat, it would be ridiculous to say it is, wouldn't it?
Well, it would. Well, that's why flat Earth is a psyop, actually, Bev.
Yeah, so it's not flat. Brilliant.
No,
now
it's not.
let's get that over with. Right, brilliant. And
It's
also,
a misnomer, yes.
we can
It's a
have
misnomer.
2D
agree with you.
circles, right? Yeah, we can draw circles, big ones.
But all I'm trying to get you to, okay, I'm not.
In fact,
what's
that's,
going on here? All I'm trying to say to you,
postulate 3.
when you say Earth is not flat, you mean all of the mountains and the topography of the land.
Yeah, I
sure,
mean, it's not flat because we can measure elevation changes with a tool called
What do you think?
level.
Okay. When
So
someone says
what are
they're
we
a flat
what are we
earther
what are
to
we
you-
making?
Yeah.
What are we attributing
think they're
flatness to then?
Yeah. What do you think
What
someone
are we
means when they say they're a
putting
flat earther? Ben?
to our argument? They're that's
understand
reinforcing of the ball. You reinforce the ball when you say flat earther.
Listen to me, right the hand, and you should know better at this stage. The ball is metaphor. They took the truth and they co-opted it. They turned it into a lie, the heliocentric system, right? You should know that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree that, like, bro, but that's like, you don't.
Not for here, not for this conversation. I get it.
Hey, Red, I remember, sorry, man, a while ago, like half an hour ago, you wanted to make a point, and I wanted to remember to get you in, but I forgot. Do you still remember what you wanted to say, bro?
Nah, no, you good, man. It was just, I'll send you something in a minute. Don't post it.
Whenever you get it, bro.
Bro, this.
Yeah.
George is cheering you on in the YouTube chat, saying you're frustrating me, Pete. And he's like cheering you on. Go, yeah, go. Pete,
Is that George Hadnock?
George Nutsack, yeah.
Well, what am I going to say?
So this is the.
Are you people still
is my-
struggling with third grade math?
Pete.
Hold on, before
Yeah,
Brendan,
I think
before you
he's-
turn it into a shit show, can I
point out one
let me
thing
say something before it goes
For
to a shit
deeper
show? Real quick?
consideration,
Yeah, go ahead.
Bev. That's all I'm talking about.
I just wanted to say one thing after right hand. Go ahead.
Reality is being measured, right? When you're saying precision, we're measuring reality. Like, we're just attributing a value to reality. Now, to say that it isn't perfect is almost denying reality's absoluteness. That was it.
No, well. Okay, let me just briefly respond. I know someone's trying to get in. Well, look, of course, I make the distinction between talking to flat earthers and ball earthers. That's all. Yeah. Someone's waiting to get in there.
You get the yep. You get the pictures, Essie?
Yep. Nice. Yeah. That says it all, bro.
I show it to Bev in the morning.
The only thing I was wanting to say before it goes to something else was that, and not to diss you, Pete, but it was just the problem that I had with what you were saying was the first part of your argument about the idealism of straight lines and angles, but then you turn right around and want to idealize seeing Earth as a whole object. That just seems contradictory to me.
No, you got me wrong there. I was trying to get Bev to say in relation to the scale of the known Earth expands, where vertical always meets horizontal to 90 degrees. Oh, actually, they do that. They say the same thing in the ball, but a plumb line. Actually, my best way of putting this right is if everyone was to point vertically from their standing position on Earth, we would all be pointing in the same direction. That's what I say. The best way of putting it. But no, I was trying to get Bev just briefly to in relation to scale, the scale of the known Earth, and it could, as good as be damned, be described as flat, surface.
Yeah, it's not flat.
Just the
though,
variation from horizontal is so minimal in comparison to the greater span. That's what I'm talking about. Like a snooker ball. You know the way they tell you, if you zoom in on a snooker ball, is far from flat because the scale, scale
Snooker
is
ball.
different.
You know who else uses snooker balls, Pete?
Dennis Taylor.
Are you using the surface of a snooker ball to prove flat?
No, I'm not. Bev, what's wrong with you, man?
Why did you bring up the snooker ball then?
So
go on, run us over.
What I'll do
Past
then?
that
What,
again.
okay, let me give
Show
you
us
another
how
picture.
you were
Let me
doing
give you-
that. Go on.
Okay, let me. I'll get you. So you asked the question, then I started to answer, but let me answer you perfectly. IPS, Tim Osman talks about an infinite plane. Now imagine we had an infinite plane for a second, and the highest mountains, the highest broaches were Mount Everest size. Over that greater scale, it would be said, to any degree of meaning, right, it had to be flat. Do you understand that?
Two-dimensional surface. It's not flat because there's mountains and ridges, and you've just
Yes,
said.
but we know that,
But
Bev.
yeah,
You think
yeah.
I don't know that?
Yeah. So we know it's not flat.
But here's what you will do. You will assume it's a perfect plane, right?
No. Why would I do
You will
that?
translate. You will translate between the two.
I would say level is horizontal, like I always have, and we use that
Yeah,
to
but say
measure
something else,
elevation
Bev.
changes.
To tell us something we don't know as flat earthers.
Tell you something that you don't know as a flat earther.
I can tell you something that maybe you don't know, unless maybe you've been listening to me. That
What you're
Earth
flipping that
is
around.
everything. The
You're
stars,
telling
the
me
sky,
now, are you? Or
the
you want
atmosphere.
me to
Yes,
tell you?
I'm telling you.
Well, you
the
told
stars,
me. You said
the
you
sky.
tell me, the flat earthers, what to do, and now are you telling? Because I'm not a flat earther. You know that. So,
Right.
So who's telling?
So
who?
what is Earth? What is Earth, Bev? What's your best
dirt.
guess?
Except you kind of are.
It's dirt.
What? This is what I
No,
was
it's
saying
not
a minute
dirt.
ago.
No,
This
it's
is what
not
I was
dirt,
saying.
Bev. That's
Why?
the trick, you see.
Why
Come on,
do you
please.
want to be categorized with something that's a misnomer and intentionally used to confuse and mislead?
Right.
I
Hang
think
on,
Bev
hang
is.
on,
I think Bev is trying
Yeah,
to
all right.
avoid that. I
Right,
think
but
Bev's
hang
trying
on,
to
Bev.
avoid that.
No, it's just, I'm
because
just
it is-
sticking in reality and saying it's not
Yeah,
flat.
but hang on,
It's
Bev. Hang
obviously
on a
not
second,
flat.
Bev, please. All right, Bev,
So,
give me a second.
Pete,
please.
stop.
It's Bev.
Listen,
Bev.
this is a
hor-
ridiculous
listen,
argument.
all water.
Listen to what I was going to say. You
all
interrupted
water
me,
is
Bev.
horizontal and parallel
Data,
to the
please.
plane.
Yeah, all right.
So on
Yeah,
that
yes,
sense,
yes, data.
it's flat.
Yes.
All
The
water is horizontal
water
to the
is
plane.
horizontal.
Parallel to the
Yes. All right.
All water is
Listen,
horizontal and parallel to the plane.
Dada,
Everywhere
will you
we
stop for a
go.
minute, please?
Fucking hell.
Will you stop at a second, Dada? Let me respond to Bev. Bev, you say Earth is dirt. I say Earth is the stars, it's the barrier, it's the atmosphere, it's the waters, the oceans, it's the dirt, and it's whatever the fuck is beneath us as well. That's a lot more than what you say it is.
Then go
Brilliant.
say it
Someone's
somewhere
wrong.
else.
Yeah, go to another channel, please. Like, we're not bothered about what's underneath. We are talking about horizontal and vertical in geometric principles in reality. Right, Pete?
And reality, Earth is dirt. Okay, you want ballers to bounce your shit against. I'll go to another room.
Okay.
Fuck off.
See you later, Pete.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. Wow. Now, who else did we have? Brenda,
Sorry.
I think
See you
you
later,
might have
Pete.
overtalked you. Oh, Brenda, somebody muted Brenda. I didn't.
Grade three math there, Bev. That's what she's into. Grade 3 math.
Oh, yeah, that's what I know. That's what she said. She wants to come and give us a grade 3 math lesson. Who was it that muted Brenda? I don't want to unmute Brenda if Brenda was muted for other reasons. Anyone?
It's your show.
Yeah.
If she keeps calm and not condescending,
Oh, like you.
Or was that Moyoc?
kind of like who was that?
Moyoc.
Moyoc.
Right. Well, since we are hosting again, I think I might point that out. So
he's gone.
The mod team. Yeah.
Why don't you guys use the stage function?
Because you can't share videos and things on the stage. It doesn't work yet.
But you're not sharing. But you're
Why don't you attack the format of the show a little more?
But you're not sharing a video though.
I
About
was going to. I mean, I was going to, but then it turned into I don't know. Call it a shit show. People getting all up.
Is sharing a well? Is that why you're here?
Wow.
Stay away from the
Oh
I
my
think you need to
god.
turn your mic down. Or your speakers
TV.
down or something in the background. Yeah, you've got me too
Do you have a
loud.
point to make? Do you have a point to make? Concerning the subject we're talking about?
I'd like to hear from the alley.
Well, SC, did you
switched.
Did you see the 2 videos I posted to you, SC?
Yeah.
We'll discuss that in the morning. I think that's pretty plumb.
Definitely.
What's the topic?
Perpendicular.
Yeah, perpendicularity.
That's just the 90 degrees to another straight line. That's perpendicular.
Yep.
Done and dusted.
Yep. So horizontal plane can be made, and all perpendiculars to the plane, as we know in geometry, are parallel, and also, as we know in reality, perpendicular to horizontal, as you've just agreed, vertical.
No, that's false.
Oh, there we go. Which bit's
There you
false?
go. So, all perpendiculars to a plane, right, are parallel and are 90-degree angles. Absolutely.
Right.
But on the Earth, not all plumb vertical lines are parallel.
But is
They're
a
not.
horizontal plane available?
So plumb lines on the Earth are not parallel.
What about the horizontal plane?
So plumb lines, just stop trying to change the. You're trying to change the goalposts. Plumb lines on Earth are not parallel. This is an observation. It's an observation.
I've asked you about the horizontal.
Yeah.
When you make a bold claim, you have to back it up.
The horizontal to what?
The horizontal plane. Can it be established in reality? Can you establish a horizontal plane in reality? Like in the place that we live, is there possible that we can establish a horizontal plane?
Horizontal to what? Horizontal is only in reference to another line.
A horizontal plane is a horizontal plane, and you.
How is horizontal defined? Horizontal is defined as 90 degrees to another line.
No.
So which line are you? That's how it's defined.
You seem confused, Brenda. I don't think you've ever actually done any of this stuff. I can't imagine you ever of holding a level. Have you ever done a job? Maybe a bit of concreting? Bit of surveying? I'm not so sure. Have you done any?
Horizontal has to be in reference to something else.
Have you done any? Have you ever
You said that
pretended
5
to have done
times,
any?
Brenda.
Have you ever pretended to do any surveying anywhere?
No, none of this is relevant.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You've not even done a little bit of pretend surveying. No?
It's not relevant.
Have you ever done any real surveying?
So my claim was that.
Have you ever pretended
plums,
to have done any real surveying?
So plumb lines are not parallel. I didn't say anything
about.
about.
How many times have we said that? It's like
I'm
repeating
because you're trying to.
That's the seventh time.
Yes, you're trying to shift the goalposts.
No, you just keep repeating.
You're desperate to change.
It's like you've got a bit of a narrative that you have to push.
Well, I want you to either agree or disagree.
What the all perpendiculars to a plane would be parallel.
Is that what I said? Why are you lying about what I said?
He didn't lie. He just made a statement like
No,
you made a statement.
he misrepresented what I said. I didn't say
No,
all perpendiculars.
he just made a statement.
Oh, you definitely
I didn't
said
say
that all
perpendiculars.
perpendiculars to a
No,
plane
I
will
did
be
not.
parallel. You did, because you stated, that's how you started.
No, I said that plumb
that's
lines.
true.
I said that plumb lines on Earth are none of them are parallel.
How do you know that? At least that's just a
It's
statement you're
observable
making.
and measurable. It's observable and measurable.
How? Wow, that's a good one.
Yes.
Measurable.
Fantastic.
You know, I was just queuing that video up. That's just where we were thinking of going. To watch where the beginning of it's like a half-hour video, though. Do you think we could sit through that, or do you want to? That's why we're in this bit, so we can watch videos together.
Do you have a response?
We can watch the video, right, to see where you get your measurements from. Because I
Well,
don't think you've
just-
done it yourself, have you? Because you've never even pretended to be a surveyor.
Do you agree or do you disagree?
You answer the question, Ellen.
I would like Bev to tell me whether he agrees or not that all plumb lines on Earth, none of them are parallel with each other.
Can you prove that?
It's
That's
an
a
observation.
ridiculous-
Yes.
It's a ridiculous
Where's
statement.
the observation?
It is.
Where's the observation?
Sounds like there's a model afoot.
Zanuck posted images up above. If you scroll up, Zanuck
Why are
posted
you
the
referring
images.
to
You can post them
Zanuck?
again.
We're asking you, Brenda.
There we go. Right, so I've got this video here. I don't know which bits do you want us to look at, Brenda, for your angles. Oh, jeez, look at the fucking size of that.
I just want you to respond.
So
I want you to
respond to
respond.
Zanuck's numbers. You want us to respond to Zanuck's numbers? That's not a demonstration of
I
two
just
plumb bobs.
I just want Bev to say either yay or nay, and then give me the reasons for why he agrees or disagrees.
The plumb lines are what? Parallel.
Is that what I said, Bev?
I
What's
would
the
agree. I would
question,
agree with
Brenda?
you. Yes.
Go ahead.
I would agree.
Ellen says that plumb bobs are not parallel,
Oh, wow.
but in reality, they
That's a pretty big claim, that.
It actually isn't.
Wow, it is. It's a massive claim.
I would
no,
ask
it really isn't.
I would ask one
I would
question.
like your response. I would like Bev to respond instead of quit.
I would
trying to
respond by
dodge
saying
the question.
State plane coordinate system that you have would have all horizontals parallel and also all verticals parallel. I mean, it'd have
I'm
to
not
be.
talking about horizontals. I'm talking about plumb lines.
Yeah, and all perpendiculars to a horizontal plane.
No, I'm not talking about perpendiculars to a horizontal plane. I'm talking about plumb lines. See, this is how you know somebody is deceptive, is when they refuse to answer simple, direct questions like this. This is a non-flat earther who is in here to disrupt.
I'm hosting.
You made a statement, not a question.
Yeah, I'm hosting, and I'm telling you, all perpendiculars to a horizontal plane will be parallel. Now, any perpendicular to a horizontal plane would also be vertical. Now, that's provable. That's
I'm
provable.
not talking. Yes, you're right.
And all
I'm
you
not
need to
talking
do
about
is to prove a horizontal plane. And that's
I'm not
easy
talking about
because
that.
they exist in reality. That's all
I'm
you
not
need to do.
talking about any of that. I'm
well,
talking
you
about
don't know
plumb.
what you're talking about.
I'm talking about plumb.
Which
You
would
do
be
know what I'm talking about. You're
perpendicular to the
pretending.
horizontal plane.
You're a liar. You're pretending
Brenda,
not to know.
calm down, or I'm gonna have to mute you. Calm down.
You're gonna have to calm down, Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll
who's-
unleash the right the hand on you if you don't be careful.
Does anybody here? He's nothing. He's a gnat. So does anybody here? Does anybody here think that I'm talking about?
sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, you just don't listen, and you just talk over people.
This is me hosting it. If you don't know.
Yeah, and it's you lying about what I said.
What does he lie about?
Mis-
You need to stop
he
with
says-
the ad hoc and just prove your parallel plumb lines.
Just scroll
Prove that they're not parallel, because we know they. So you need to show us they're not. And just a bunch of letters and numbers on a screen is not proof.
You can just scroll up. Zanuck has posted data.
It's not about Zanuck. We're asking you.
No, data from observations that show that two plumb lines were not parallel, thus refuting.
That's not a demonstration.
Yeah, it is. It's data.
That is not a demonstration.
It's data.
Bye, Brenda.
It's data.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant.
Well, since Bev doesn't know whether or not the Earth is flat or round,
I would think it's not flat. Fuck's sake, Brenda.
There's the model. There's the model. There's the model.
So Bev doesn't know whether it's flat or round. I would think he would be happy
Bev says
to find
it's
out.
definitely not flat, and I'm one of the people that's actually measured it, mapped it, right, with the tools that do that. Check for elevation.
I really doubt that. I don't think you have. Where's your data? Where's your
She
data?
don't have anything, man. Get up out of here.
Yeah.
Where's your data?
I've got a certificate if you want to see it.
No, I don't care about your certificate. You said
you surveying certificate.
Bev, you said you measured the flatness of the Earth. Where's your data?
I said I've actually measured the Earth, right?
Yeah,
with
where's
a
your data?
level.
And what was your conclusion?
It's measurable, definitely.
What did you measure? The curvature?
There's no curvature, is there? Level is horizontal. I know that, right? This is the point.
So it's flat.
What's the curvature of?
So the Earth is flat then?
What's the curvature of, Brenda?
Is the Earth flat?
What is the curvature of, Brenda?
What is your data? What is it?
Is the curvature of, Brenda?
That's just a non sequitur.
Well, a mountain curves. It goes up and down on the other side. Is that the curvature you're talking about? Because that's definitely measurable.
Is this where you pretend that you don't know the difference between the overall flatness or curvature of the Earth and terrain?
What? Well, the Earth is what you measure with geometry.
Are you pretending not to know that difference?
The Earth is what you measure in geometry.
Are you pretending not to know the difference between terrain?
You sound like you're turned into a full sophistry here.
How is that sophistry?
Because I'm saying level is horizontal. Are you saying that curves, Brenda?
Oh,
is that the curvature you're looking for? The curvature of a horizontal?
I'm asking you to back up your claim that you measured the Earth. Where's your data?
Brenda.
Where's your data?
This is getting old, Brenda.
Well,
is this the best you've got?
Okay, hold on.
I want to watch your video.
He'll show you. He has a 400. He has a 400 meter water level, right? He took it out many times, and he did his thing. So what does that mean to you? What's your issue with that? What's your issue with Bev?
I want to see his data from his observation that measures either the Earth being curved or flat. How is that?
Hold on. When did he ever say that he went to measure the?
He did. He said he measured the Earth.
Hey, just real quick. You came in with the statement, said it, what was it, SE, like 7 or 8 times. You made the statement boldly, showed no proof of it, but now you're asking for measurements. How does that work?
I referenced the post by Zanuck, who posted the data that I'm talking about.
Can you explain it? Can you explain it?
Yeah, there were two stations were set up a distance apart. Both were established zenith and established perpendicular, right? And then when he added up the interior angles, they exceeded 180 degrees, thus showing that the plumb line was not parallel. He showed it an interior angles of greater than 180 degrees. If they were parallel, it would equal exactly 180 degrees. It did not.
What did he measure to and over what distance?
It between two stations, between two survey stations. You can get all those particulars from Zanek's post. They were 1,200 feet apart.
12.
What was the measurement?
Feet.
Now that's a bold claim.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
You can't just say 12. You can't just say 12. Hang on. You can't just say 1,200 feet and give some arc second that's not even showing the measurement of what the arc second was or two, and still make that claim.
All of the data is published. All of the data is published and available.
That's not enough data.
It shows that the two plumb lines are not parallel, thus refuting the claim that the Earth is flat. You're done.
No, you're done because it's only showing an arc second. To what? How
You're done, bro.
It doesn't
You're done.
It's not showing anything.
If it's within the tolerances
Oh,
of
you
the
guys.
instrument, it shows that the two
Ellen,
plums
stop.
are not
It is not
parallel.
showing anything. Ellen,
Why
it is not
is that?
showing anything.
Why is that?
Because it's not a demonstration. It's not showing anything.
It's
You're
an
just telling us
observation.
that
It's an
these numbers
observation
mean
with data.
something. No, it's not an observation. It's numbers.
It's an observation made by a real person on the real Earth with real instruments.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question. Let me pull up the thing where Zanuck posted it. I have to go back. All right. First one, 17.1 what? Number one, 17.1 what to what? How do you get 17.1?
Crickets.
That's your cue, Brenda.
She doesn't know.
For what?
What do you have a clue? What's going on? Like, were you talking to me? It's a waste of time. It says at the bottom there, like he's measured 18 seconds of curvature. He puts that to the center of the Earth and goes, the angle formed between 402 and 404 with the radius of, like, what's that? 68% correct. So that's, he's took a measurement of 18 seconds. And he's come out with something that's 68% correct. He's not a real surveyor. The guy can't even set his fucking tools up.
Just
he
respond to the actual
horizontal
data.
is. It's a joke.
Yeah, I know you're trying to character assassinate.
No,
but the
you
fact
don't even know his method. And you don't know what he's talking about. And he's not a real surveyor.
Yeah, that's fair. Describe his method, Brenda. Describe the method he was
I told
using.
you already what it was. He set up two stations and established zenith on both of them, established perpendicular to the zenith on both of them, and measured the interior angles.
Be trusted to know what zenith is. He doesn't know what horizontal is.
You don't know, yeah. So you're just going to character
If I can show you, no, it's not character assassination. There's a video out there where he tells you he doesn't know what horizontal is. Now, if he doesn't know what horizontal is, it's directly proportional to vertical. It's perpendicular. So he can't find zenith. This guy, he's not a real surveyor. And you guys think he is. He's fooled you, Brenda, not us. You.
It doesn't matter whether or not he has a certificate or not. We got the data from the observation that shows. Yeah, you can.
Do you
You can say
understand
that
what he
if you
said
want.
about the data, Brenda?
That's just denial. That's just denialism. That's all you've got is denial.
I've got two videos that show.
All you've got is denialism.
Now, I will say this. I will say this boldly. If you're going to claim that plumb lines are not parallel, you better show a plumb bob or two plumb bobs in your video, because surveyors do use plumb bobs to set their equipment up. Fact.
Yeah. So what?
He never does that.
Why?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your video that y'all tout all the time.
My video, it's his. He doesn't have to show him.
Xanic.
He doesn't have to show
you're
every
doing
single
it third party through Xanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut this down.
Generation information.
That doesn't make any difference.
It does make a difference. He doesn't know how to set his tools up, so you cannot trust any data he gives you.
That's not true.
It is definitely true.
No.
Yes.
It's just
Not
your
a real
words. It's
surveyor.
just your say so. It's
No,
just your say so.
He's put a video out there.
It's just your say so.
It's not my say so. He's got a
Yeah, it
video
is.
out there. You can watch it.
This is just turning into he said, she said. Can we just move it on?
Okay, calm down, Brenda. This is time for you to calm down.
Objective data, and you're denying it. You're just denying it.
Brenda?
Yeah. Bye.
She can't even explain the objective data. So how can I take somebody's word posting something when they can't explain the data or how it was derived?
Wild lighthouses.
Can we get to the video?
Yeah, I've got.
Hello, everyone.
I've got the.
You're probably one of the most dishonest people I've ever
Look
met.
at this,
Ralph.
man.
You made your point, Brenda. Be quiet or I'm going to mute you. One more statement like that.
Nah, she's gone.
Okay, right.
She left.
Good riddance.
I'm going to show this video now since I brought it up. There you go.
Come back another time when you're more calm and more respectful.
Right.
Yeah, we can see it.
Right now.
Better still don't come back.
This is. Do you need it big screen or is that all right? Little screen.
Yeah.
Big screen. Right. So this is the guy that we're talking about that everybody's trusting for plumb bobs not being parallel. And he set up this one here, theodolite, and this one here is an auto level. And he's put them next to each other, and this is looking through the auto level, stadia hairs, crosshairs, and this is the lighthouse that's across the other side. I don't know why people look over water at lighthouses. Surveyors don't normally do this sort of stuff. This is completely made up surveying techniques. And then this is the other one. It's the theodolite. It's upside down. I mean, let's take it that it is upside down. But you see the distance between the crosshairs. I mean, you've got to ignore the stadia hairs because they are both two different magnifications. But the crosshair, the horizontal, is a long way different, right? And if you listen to him, can you guys hear this?
Hello, everyone. This is a brief follow-up.
It's not very loud.
This video called
No, it's good enough.
Lighthouse,
That's good enough.
which seems to have caused a stir
listen to what
in
he says.
the comments section among some of the folks that believe that the surfaces of the ocean are planar rather than curved. So what's happening in this video? What's really the purpose of this video? We see, looking through the scope of an auto level and a theodolite. And as noted in the video, they're not the same. They're
not the same.
Different instruments, and they may have different calibration settings. And that the crosshairs, when you look through the scopes and see the crosshairs compared to the lighthouses, they're different.
They're different?
And I had noted that they would be.
And you know they would be?
Let's see. Get that to play a little bit. Okay.
Right, so he admits that they should be different. Like, they shouldn't be different. Any real surveyor would go, wait a minute. Something's not right here.
Yeah, but is this when they had the two instruments and one of them was the level, the horizontals were different when they were at the same height?
Yeah, look, I mean, can you see that?
No,
They're different.
I brought that to them and they told me the main surveyor said it should be off because one of the instruments wasn't calibrated.
So it wasn't horizontal. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. That was just their excuse. They said he said it should be off because one of the instruments wasn't calibrated. I don't know why he's walking around with an uncalibrated thing, but
yeah. And why would he make a video with it that's uncalibrated?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's the point of making a video saying, "Yeah, I set it up, I made the video, and they were uncalibrated"? Yeah. Like, which one's uncalibrated? Could they both be uncalibrated? I mean, what sort of a useless surveyor, like, puts two tools next to each other and doesn't, like, go, yeah, I best I didn't do that. That'd look bad, wouldn't it? I mean, what's he doing with two uncalibrated tools? Which one's uncalibrated? How does he know? And he does say that what you do is, he says it in this. I don't know where it's 7 minutes or whatever, but if you guys listen to the video, go and listen to it. He says he would calibrate it after the fact by doing a two-peg test until you get it right. Well, no. You do the two-peg test before you start. That's when you make sure it's working. That's the first thing you do when you get it out. Like, that's the first thing any real surveyor would do. I mean, DP's even done it.
Even.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like, it's that basic that's the first thing that you should do.
The monkey can do
it.
Somebody as simple as DP can do it.
Yeah, nice one, SE.
But, I mean, if this guy is doing this and not noticing, or, like, even noticing it and then just sort of brushing it off, I mean, what's he meant to be doing?
Well, I couldn't do it, so that means I'm more simpler than DP.
You would. You'd be able to do it dead easy. It's one of the easiest things, but, I mean, it's experience. You just have to be able to do it. Yeah, anyone can come along and have a go at
something,
doing it.
or trying to lead you down the garden path or something. He was hiding something, leading you down the garden path with that statement that one of them was off. Clearly, something there.
They are off.
That's not
like
right.
They're obviously off. I mean, the fact is that he didn't notice until somebody, maybe named Bev, started noticing in his comments, because nobody else noticed it. Why would anybody else notice?
I mean, what are you doing walking around with an uncalibrated auto level or theodolite or what? You got to get your plumb levels. You know, if he's walking around with an uncalibrated plumb line.
I ask uncomfortable questions that seem to be get really bad responses. So this guy made an extra video to say, you know, like, why some people were saying that, and all he did, he just doubled down on it.
Video, no. Is it?
Yeah, listen to this.
Geodetic surveying, these two.
Wait a minute.
Totally unprofessional.
The closer one. Now, this is not a technical video.
Listen.
This is one of my least technical videos I've ever made. Just a quick, simple demonstration. So, is it accurate for geodetic surveying, these two different instruments in this video? No. Is it accurate for a simple demonstration of showing curvature? Absolutely. We could have just taken a scope that has no crosshairs, if I had one, and we would accomplish the same thing.
Is it okay for measuring curvature? Absolutely. We could have just took a scope without crosshairs, like a camera, and achieved the same thing, he says. Absolutely nothing, right? The guy isn't a real surveyor. You definitely can't trust him for measuring plumb lines being parallel, especially when you look into the geometry and the purpose of what he's doing behind it. It'd be fucking hilarious when he comes out. Get him to come back come and play. Everybody shout for Jeff. Come on.
Come out of the rock.
Here's one that I think Jesse helped him with when they first come over. They must have met. Jesse went down there. Look how close the crosshairs is to the lighthouse on that one. It's different, isn't it? He's they're playing games, and they have been for quite a while. And this game that this man's playing is silly. Yeah.
It didn't see a measuring rod in that.
No.
So we just guesstimation. Oh, somebody else did that too.
When you're walking around with an uncalibrated auto level, you don't really need a measuring stick.
No. Wait, Jeremy. Wait. You out there with an uncalibrated, no measuring rod. What are you doing?
But what's bad is in the video he says ridiculous things. It's to be expected. The horizontals aren't the same. We calibrated after the fact. Might not be calibrated. But yet the same guy, people tout his videos saying he's able to get accuracies that are, I would say, impossible. Yeah, he's okay. He's a good guy. Yeah. Y'all.
Yeah. He's got one. One of the ones that I do. One of the sketches is Euclid and Plumb lines. I'm quite proud of this. This is obviously when 420. I don't know whether to add another view to it. Go on, I'll put it on. Right.
I thought today we should talk about some of the underlying principles again about plumb lines.
This is genius, right? It depends on how into geometry everybody is, and the difference between Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry. Now,
make it big.
Yeah, make it big. Okay. Right. So
sorry.
Anyone know the big difference between Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry? Because that's a pretty important factor to start off with here.
I do. I'll wait to see if somebody else does it.
Yeah. It's sort of on the it's on the screen. Might be a bit of a giveaway. It's like we call it the triangle axiom, but these people have got all confused, like really confused, and they call it the parallel postulate. And this is how confused you can get with the parallel postulate and a really bad lack of geometry knowledge.
Would you say that this is a prime example of stolen concept fallacy?
Oh, this is like a comedy routine for the intelligentsia, right? So basically, set it up. QE did his logic thing, and I like the logic, so I decided to start playing with them on Twitter. Obviously, with the surveyors, the fake surveyors, as I already knew back then. So there's a school teacher, or a pretend, maybe a fake school teacher, said she was a geometry teacher for schools, that decided to take Jeff's picture and add it to a modus tollens, and then add in the parallel postulate, just for the icing on the cake. Now, here's the script. The picture he uses with the angles in the thing is 94 degrees either side. So it's quite obviously with the line of sight and the occupy station B. This is how Jeff does his pictures. So the modus tollens is, if plumb lines are parallel, P, then the sum of the interior angles, zenith angles, will be 180 degrees. Q. Well, that's like a really badly worded statement, and it doesn't actually ring true, so we're struggling already. And then it says the sum of the interior angles, zenith, is greater than 180. not Q, which is zenith angles will be 180. Therefore, plumb lines are not parallel. So that's a really bad logic proof. I should bring it up on Logic Night, actually. Let everybody work through that. So it's bad logic. But then the really funny icing on the cake bit is the parallel postulate, Euclid's fifth, which it says, if a line segment intersect two straight lines forming two interior angles on the same side that sum to less than two right angles, then the two lines, if extended indefinitely, meet on the side on which the angles sum to less than two right angles. Genius. So it's about a triangle formed, which they've nicely picked out. And they're saying that that straight line between the two would form a triangle, and that triangle would, if indefinitely extended, would meet. Genius, right? I don't know if anybody else has seen that before as a globe proof. Can you see the beauty in that? You're getting this.
Can you post that, Bev? It's hard to see it on the live.
Okay.
Do you have like a thing that you can?
I'll snip it. I think I've got it. Anyway.
The degrees are what's what I think in the degrees as opposed to where it says line of sight would be a big problem, I would say.
There you go. Right, it's more though, you want to be looking at the greater picture of it. Right, this is Euclidean.
Well, if you want to talk about stolen concept, I mean,
well,
that
it is what would be true if verticals were to the center, but the very fact that they're using Euclidean and they're using what they call the parallel postulate, and that's the one. Buster, what's the difference between Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry?
extra dimension.
It's that parallel postulate. That's the one they have to get rid of. You can't have the parallel postulate. You have to confuse the parallel postulate as to being parallels and then get rid of it. But on the misunderstanding that it is actually a triangle axiom that makes a triangle. So if you actually do make a triangle with your model, then there's no need for you to make a non-Euclidean geometry that doesn't have that postulate. Is there?
It can't have that postulate because it doesn't have that extra dimension.
Yeah, that's the point. If that were true and that actually did happen, they wouldn't need to make a non-Euclidean geometry and get rid of that actual thing in the first place. I mean, I don't know. Like you have to have a word with him. I mean, he's a surveyor, and he's definitely got together with a teacher. Wait a minute, maybe he's not a surveyor. I don't know. The logic's definitely faulty. Really bad logic. The measurements on his thing are undoable because it's 94 degrees on either side. Impossible.
Which Morris Pollens is that again?
That's KC's, but based around Jeff, the guy from Maine that has surveyor in his YouTube name.
Wow.
Probably not even from Maine.
Yeah.
Probably not even licensed in. Probably not even licensed in Maine if he was licensed at all.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that or the fact that people use his information in his videos as proof for something.
Yeah.
Without knowing how the tools are set up or where they're set up or how the guy did his thing or anything. Because he doesn't really explain much.
No, I mean this.
How does he get the sum of the angles?
94 degrees. He's got on all of these. Like the massive. This is back when he was first started with his.
I mean, one of his videos, he says that with his measurements, his calculation of what was it, Earth radius or something, that it was 2,700 miles or something, like really off from the, I don't know, I guess Wikipedia.
Don't enable the afflicted.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's like putting an open
I
bottle
don't know how.
in front of somebody recovering.
I don't know how you can get reliable numbers if the numbers are inconsistent.
Have you seen this?
Like how do you choose what the right numbers are if the numbers are always inconsistent? I mean, you have to rely on a model.
Just add up a few of them and take an average.
I was gonna say you get a mean from a mean. It's easy.
Yeah, a mean from a mean, and then you get a mean from those means because you do it more times.
It's the 1, 2, 3. You get your first mean, then you get a mean from the mean, and then the third one's where it's at. No, I'm just kidding.
You triangulate the mean. Yeah. Mean triangulation.
Got a comment from a year ago on that video. Can you tell us which geometry you're using when you're doing these measurements and calculations, please? And that's Cosmo in there as well. Long time no see. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he's New Black Death, isn't he? So I don't know. I mean, we don't really need to go over his plumb line videos, do we? Because if you can't trust him on his geometry or his knowledge of surveying and how to set up tools, I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah, that's true.
Missing tools too.
Yeah, I think you would need him to come back to explain himself, really, before I'm willing to.
But why would you want to?
Yeah, but why would you want them to? But why? Why would you want them to?
Like I said, missing tools.
Missing plumb bobs is what he's missing.
I think Bev took them.
Felix, copy pasta. Wow, that's bad. I'm sure I've read that loads of times. Like, they're trying to say that the fifth postulate, which is the 12th axiom, triangle axiom, is even hard to read and understand. Yeah. I don't think it's that hard to understand, is it? I'll put it in here so everyone can have a look. Tell us if you think it's difficult or not.
Is that the one where it's a line laying on another line and the angles are congruent?
Two straight lines.
Two straight lines. I mean, it says straight lines, right? It doesn't say like straight, like curved.
Yeah, that's why we call it the triangle axiom. There you go, the 12th. The 12th axiom. If a straight line meet two straight lines so as to make the two interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles, these two straight lines being continuously produced shall at length meet on that side which the angles are less than two right angles. The triangle would be formed with 180 two right angles on the side which it's less than 180, right? That, to me, that's not difficult or hard or anything. It's a triangle. Given three straight lines, a triangle would be formed on the side with less than 180. That's not a problem at all, that. No problem.
Or less than two right angles, right?
Yeah.
Like if we weren't talking about degrees.
Yeah, well, because what you'd have otherwise would be two perpendiculars, right?
Yeah.
If those two right angles were there at each line, then where would the triangle be formed? Yeah, where would the triangle be formed? It wouldn't. The triangle would be formed on the side with less than 180, or two right angles. I mean, that's perfect logic. It's just, it's hard to express it. But it's basically saying a triangle's got 180 degrees.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal preference of mine, but I like using the right angles.
Yeah.
The sum of two right angles. Don't even have to say sum. It would just be equal to two right angles.
But there's three angles equal to two right angles.
Yeah. Any three angles. But I mean, it does state two straight lines.
Yeah.
I think that's something that gets ignored or overlooked, maybe purposely. I don't know.
That's why certain people have a problem with it, right? They think there's something wrong with it, but perfect. You've already described perpendicular. So there doesn't seem to be a problem for me. There's one instance where no triangle would be formed on either side, and anything else depends on that postulate as to tell you which side the triangle would be formed. There's no problem, especially seeing as two parallel straight lines has been defined also. I can't see a problem anyway. Might be too much for some people.
Yeah, I still have yet to hear how it can be measured, how any curve can be measured without using a straight line to differentiate a curve from a straight line. Like, it just seems like a logical conundrum.
Have you seen what B-Ball's just posted there?
No, I'm in the car
it's
right now.
One of the classic type things.
Oh, you load of crap, a B-Ball post.
Old. It says Geodetic surveying. This class of surveying is distinguished from plane surveying by the fact that it takes into account the curvature of the Earth, usually necessitated by the large distances or areas covered. Work of this character requires the utmost refinement of methods and instruments. Vague. Ultra vague. Okay, first.
I think that means... Oh, go ahead.
Go on. I say first, because allowing for the curvature of the Earth is in itself a refinement. Yeah, that's why we have to work of this character requires the utmost refinement of methods and instruments.
I mean,
because it is in itself a refinement. So refinement
I might
squared.
be wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. I might be wrong, but it sounds like you're taking actual measurements and tweaking them to fit a model.
Yep. That's the next one, number 2. Because small measurements have to be greatly expanded. And thirdly, because the magnitude of the work involves an accumulation of errors.
Huh.
So that sounds brilliant, doesn't it? I mean, like, you trust those guys over the plane surveyors that measure the land with the accuracy. I don't know.
I trust them to accumulate errors by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so quiet on the baller side? Kosho's here. Who else is here? Tony V. I never heard Tony V quiet.
It's because we're asking for demonstrations, not just rhetoric.
Oh, right. Isn't there a mountain that they say they have this mountain? If you hang a plumb bob next to it, it deviates from Plum.
Oh, well. I'm not too sure. Have you looked into that? I don't know.
Actually, I have, and I couldn't find anything. Then there's this bridge that Brenda keeps bringing up, that the pillars on either side deviate. They're not plumb.
Yeah, that's the Verrazano Bridge connecting New Jersey and New York.
What's their proof on that? I just heard words.
Did you hear? I said that's the Verrazano Bridge connecting New Jersey to New York. I've asked for evidence. All I can ever find is what we find everywhere, and that's just an article saying that the towers are deviating.
Yeah.
There's no data for it. It's all just assumptions. Everybody just assumes that the Earth is curved, and if it is curved, then you are going to have these deviations. No one denies that. That if you have a shape, you're going to have certain effects because that shape exists. But that's only true if you assume that what you're on is a sphere.
Yeah, they're just calculations. That's all
It
we
is
ever get.
calculable. Exactly. It's calculable, but not measurable. Right.
Yeah, you got a bit of a
Anyway, I'm
robot
gonna
there, Mobius. For me, anyway. Is he like that for everyone?
He was roboting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all know that the calculations are made, and we've tried to make that point yesterday, I think, about the measurements, the difference between a calculation and a measurement, and there's also a confusion on that. The way that some people think that, you know, there isn't much difference between the two.
You mean like singular and plural?
I don't know. Measurement and calculation, they're two completely different things, aren't they? Calculation's a mathematical procedure. Measurement is like a physical.
Yeah, but the clue is in the word measurement, singular.
It's the ment, not the mind. I'd have the.
I wonder what's the margin of error for a horizontal line to turn into a ball.
Well, that's what we've been saying all along. They need the horizontal to curve, and even their math says the horizontal must curve. But they also have a drop from the horizontal, which is very strange. They seem to have both.
They have to have that drop, and that's what's killing them now inside. That's what's making them do like backflips, mental gymnastics, because there's no way you can get around that. You can't have it both ways.
And the straight line that we observe in order to do a radius from is 10 miles long, so.
Kozlowski's failure. And George drop from horizontal. It's a pity nobody told them that they didn't actually have a horizontal anymore when they decided to get a drop from it.
It's so ridiculous to listen to that, you know, a horizontal line dropping. It's nonsensical. A horizontal line has a specific vector. Like the level line is the same vector. There is no drop.
Silly, isn't it? Like how you can go this long with such a simple geometric argument. It's not even an argument, geometric statement that everyone has to.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the funny thing, is that it's geometric statements. Only they want to make arguments out of it. But there is no argument to be had. Really weird.
Oh, it's foolish. He's upset we're posting that meme for Kozlowski's failure. Thinks it's derogatory.
Why? Because we've said Kozlowski's a failure.
Yeah, because he's never going to find his drop from horizontal. Must upset him.
That must be SE's meme. Oh no.
No, it's yours. That's what it is. It might be one of your memes. They're offensive.
Wow, I must be moving up the meme scale.
No, it wasn't you, it was me.
Damn, I thought I had that one.
You'll be getting yourself banned because of your memes soon, SE.
Yeah, that's my strive. That's my goal.
He's obsessed with QE as well, Phyllis. Just leave it alone. QE's not here. Don't worry about it. Oh, we're over at Astrolux. We're over at EA. I'll drop you the link. It should be in the thing, I hope. There you go. I didn't put a poll on or anything tonight. Yeah, we said it a long time ago, this perpendicular is a bit too much for people to take. Two straight lines. It's called right angles. Because it's two right lines. They're the only lines you needed to be able to build things. Level base. Vertical walls. Makes sense. Brad thinks it's boring. Come in, Brad. Show us your logic. He said you can disprove the horizontal parallel logic. Come on in. So anybody else wanted to go anywhere else with this? I think we seem to have silenced most people.
I was thinking the same thing. First time I hear silence. Not a word.
Just plumb bobs. I did mute loads of people though.
Well, Zanuck I could understand, yes.
Don't know whether Brenda. Foolish, maybe.
Brenda rage quit. Well, maybe not. Well, sort of. Swear quit.
Well, I did send SE's a couple pictures and a couple little videos. We can go over tomorrow to Beth. I think it's pretty cool. While everybody else is talking about Plum is not going to be 90 degrees itself. So
Joseph Stanley's in here. He's a surveyor.
Don't waste your time, man. Let them do it. Let them do it for themselves.
Oh, no. I'm not giving him that. I'm not giving him a squat.
Maybe tomorrow everyone is checking with the plumb, see if the walls are actually plumbed.
Or if it's 90.
We're going to start a Plum Bob calibrating business. And water level.
I wonder if my door frames are 90-degree angles.
Do you reckon you could measure it? See whether they are. Because I think, was it Druss that said you can't? You can't have square. There's no such thing as a perfect square.
That sounds like there's no such thing as a straight line. Last time he came in.
What's that tool called? What's that tool called again? A square? Is it a square?
Yeah. Square. And actually a 3-4-5 triangle.
No. Gummy Bear's just landed in the chat, so
Oh god.
he might be in to defend a position. So.
No. Gummy Bear won't be able to defend it. There's no defense for the model, geometrically.
You're on crack if you think that.
Really?
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
The very fact that things go down.
Okay, what geometry are we using then for starters?
Oh, what geometry?
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look here at all the different types of geometry to explain why things might be lower on a curve.
Yeah. Which geometry are we using to start off with? I'll claim Euclidean.
Euclidean geometry.
Yeah. I'll bagsy that. It's been claimed that's the flat earth geometry now. Do you want some? Or do you want to get a different one?
Here, let's hear this one out.
Are you Googling quick? What geometry can I use?
Yeah,
in a
pretty much.
geometry
Because Euclidean's just the most common one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it's just most common.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what geometry are you using for the globe? We're just curious.
Probably Euclidean.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah, just to explain why things go down over a curve.
So we're both going to use Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, we'll see whose math is more accurate.
That's okay.
It sounded like a statement to me. Things go down over the curve. Which curve?
That's true. Yeah. Obviously, the one we see.
They do. Yeah.
Obviously, the one we
Which curve
see.
were we talking about?
Yeah, the curve I see out on the water, my guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You see curve on the water.
That's right.
Ain't no curve out there, bro. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
damn sure there is.
Well, let's.
How come I don't see it?
Wait a minute.
Because you got shitty eyes and shitty
not
cameras.
Get into this one. Let's do this step by step, right? We're trying to get into finding out the curve, and we're going to use Euclidean geometry, right? So, I'm guessing we're going to use a straight line. I would.
Sure.
Right. Now, where are we going to start? We're going to start at the beach with the water at our toes.
Sure.
Right, okay. At the shore. Yeah, well done. The seashore.
Yep. Sure.
Yep. Now, we're looking out towards the water, and it's quite a way, obviously. So we're going to call that the true horizon.
Ooh, the true horizon? Why would we call that the true horizon?
Because that's what the true horizon is, the horizon over water.
Horizon over water. So, true usually indicates like a fixed position, right?
No, true means the horizontal. Definitely the true horizon, not a topographic horizon.
So I have to look down to see that, though. So it's kind of odd.
You have to look down. Okay, well, it's from your feet to that position.
Okay.
Can we say that's a straight line?
Say that's a straight line.
Yep.
So, why is it that I can look down at something that's supposed to be higher than me?
What's meant
I don't
to be
really see how
higher
that
than you?
works out.
Sorry,
I don't really
what's-
understand how that
what's
works
meant
out.
to be
Like,
higher than you?
so when you look out at things,
Yep.
out at the beach, right?
Mhm.
You actually have to angle like your point of view like a little bit down in order to see something that would otherwise be higher up than you.
So what?
Which is what
would-
I'm
what
kind of.
would
It's
be
like I'm really
higher up
hard.
than you?
Say the tip of a sailboat.
Right, but we're just
A
looking
fucking
at the
mountain.
water.
I don't know, a dog.
We're talking about
Yeah.
the water, right? That is
Yeah,
out
sure.
there, the true horizon, from your
Okay.
feet. Could you draw a straight line from your feet to that
Mhm.
position?
Okay.
Could
Cool. Not really.
He's saying that the water from his feet to the horizon is going up.
No, I'm saying it's going down.
From your eyes to your feet is going down. Yeah.
No, so like the water from my feet out towards the horizon is going down.
Okay, so
That's why things at the horizon are lower.
Where's the straight line that you're going to draw then?
Straight line? You just imagine a straight line out, like if you were to look straight ahead.
Yep.
That is the straight line.
What, straight out?
Yep, straight out. Because we know that the horizon
And
is
how
slightly.
far would it be?
Hold on. So we know that the horizon is like below your eye level. So why would I look out at the horizon? That wouldn't be a very easy thing to or a good thing to use if I'm trying to set up like a 0 degree
If you
point of view.
If you were measuring with a sextant, you would use the horizon, wouldn't you?
Okay. Am I using a sextant in this case?
Well, I don't know. What are you doing in this case?
I'm looking straight out at the water, dude, or straight out just above the water, 6 feet above the water.
Okay.
Can I just real quick, Beth?
Yeah.
So when you're saying when we look out,
Mhm.
that's where, and then when we look out straight, that's where things are. That's it.
When I look out straight, right?
Yeah,
That's my line
That
of
makes
sight.
Straight line. That makes a straight line to the thing we're seeing. If we see something, when we looking at it, it's a straight line, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You sure?
I mean, if you could take like a fucking ruler or something, a really long ruler, and you map out from your fucking eyes to whatever you're looking at, you have a straight line there.
So things aren't moving around, or just they're always there. Like, say I was to go out and see something that was way too far, then it wouldn't be a straight line, would it?
Probably not. I mean, you have refraction. You have to
Well,
deal with.
when do we make straight lines? Whenever you say it's okay, it's a straight line, and when it's not.
I say if you can get a ruler or something very straight,
Go ahead,
it's
Beth.
not gonna warp. You just fucking from eye, like you just fucking put up to your eye and to the other end to whatever you're trying to look at.
Yeah.
And then boom, you have your straight line you could use. Okay. We understand that refraction exists.
I don't want to derail the whole thing. Go ahead, Bev.
Okay, well, we've got our eye angle,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And where are you going to go with this?
Where am I going to go with this?
Yeah.
Well, anything so if you have your 0 point, right? So you level out your eyes, right? Or you level out. You can even use like your.
We've got
your
we're
yeah,
all,
you've got your
we're
special
all
tools,
agreed that we've got an
Yeah.
imaginary eye angle that
Yep,
you've
so-
just generated. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you set it 0, nice and horizontal and level and whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yep.
All right. Anything that's below that, that's supposed to be taller than you, goes against any kind of fucking math I'm familiar with.
Math? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What math? You've just measured an angle. So you
Yeah, you're right, we measured-
within that angle. It goes
No, so-
against anything math-wise
No, so-
that you know.
Yeah, so anything that's supposed to be higher than my eye level, that is now below my eye level,
just
meaning I have
looking
to
at-
actually like angle my eyes down
What
to
is
see.
there that's meant to be
Can
higher
you shut
than
up
your
and
eye
listen?
level?
Wait. I got a picture for you.
Okay.
Just post it. Explain how you gonna do it.
Where's you posting for pictures?
What are you talking about? What's meant to be higher than your eye level when you're at
So
the
say
beach
for
looking
instance,
out towards
say
the
for
horizon?
instance, you're like 10 feet above the water, right? And you look out at the distance.
beach with the toes lapping.
Okay,
at
cool.
the
Even more
water.
so. Even more so. Say that there's like a dock at the very other end of like the lake you're standing at, right?
No.
And that dock is.
It's the water. It's the sea.
Holy shit! You're a fucking ape. Can you listen?
Sorry, what was that?
Take it easy there. That's not going to be tolerated.
We
That's the
are
only warning you're going to get.
Yeah.
The beach at the shore, if you remember.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're
Right.
at the beach.
Yeah.
All right, so
You keep talking about what's going to be taller than you. Please tell us.
I'm
what
telling you what's
is
going to be
to
taller than you.
Okay.
Anything out that I'm fucking looking out at.
At the true horizon. That's what the deal is.
Yeah, sure. It could be at the true horizon. It could be a boat at the like at the true horizon.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if I'm able to look down at that boat in any modicum of any slight angle, that kind of disproves a flat Earth in my mind.
Measuring an angle and you
Yeah.
looking down.
Yep. And me looking
When
down.
does this occur?
Me
When
looking.
does this occur?
Have you
ever,
Yeah, actually,
have you
I have.
ever looked through a pair of binoculars?
I'm down.
Yeah.
When
yeah, I have.
when do you look down?
So when I was ever at Cabo San Lucas, I distinctly remember being able to look down at the sunset when I was up on like the half mile or like the big old mountain ridge that they have overlooking the beach. And my understanding, the sun's never supposed to be below me, but somehow I can look down at the sun.
Could look down.
It's a
when
big
you
claim
were
there.
Up a mountain.
Yep. Cabo San Lucas, they have a mountain ridge that is like just over the beach.
And you think nothing is meant to be below you if you go up a mountain?
Definitely not something that should be above me, should be looking below me.
So if an airplane is flying above you over distance, it's going lower now.
Yeah, so an airplane that's supposed to be at 7 miles high, I should never be able to look down at an airplane that's cruising at 5 or 7 miles, right, if I'm only like a quarter of a mile above the water. Would you agree with that?
So when does the airplane lose its altitude then?
No, we're just saying there's a plane, for example, just as this is actually a good example you brought up. If there's a plane that's
He's going to
cruising,
fly over the mountain, isn't he?
sure, he can fly over the mountain. In that case, I'd be looking up above at him, right? If he were to fly out, maintaining his 5, 6, 7 mile high fucking altitude, either way, if he's above me.
But hold on a second. You
Holy
just
shit.
said it. If you're looking at the mountain, you're looking down. But if you're looking at the airplane flying over the mountain, you're looking up.
Cool. Can you? I don't know, what's so hard to understand about this.
We're getting away to don't take him to aeroplanes, please.
Yeah. So.
Give him that.
Yeah. So I distinctly remember, and could be something easily replicated if you live in a tall building. Being able to look down at a sunset, which in my mind shouldn't be possible, because how can you possibly look down at something that's supposed to be higher than you? I mean, unless you can show me with like some Euclidean like math or some Euclidean geometry to explain how like something getting far like away but still being above like the z-axis, right, can somehow form a negative angle in the sense that you're looking down. Wow. I'll wait on that, Mr. Construction Worker.
Horizontal. Have you ever established a horizontal?
Yeah, sure. If you establish your horizontal, if you could find, if you like again, like you have like your fucking what? What do you mean where?
I mean, where have you established a horizontal?
I mean, you could bust out your fucking water level to establish your horizontal if you so choose.
You did pictures last night with them at an angle.
Yes.
Well, water levels don't do that, so.
Yeah, the water like finds its level. I agree, but you can still have the ends of the hoses at different heights. But
and
we
that
can get into
forms a horizontal.
No, the water itself will form a horizontal. You can use that.
Yeah, so you're saying if we have the water level, both the
sure.
ends will line up on a horizontal.
Sure.
Oh, Ben, there you go.
Yeah, the water will line up at a horizontal, right? The tubes could be different heights, right? But that water's still going to be at the same level to each other.
Yeah.
Yes, if we have a water level, I know exactly. So if we have a water level, both ends of the water are going to be horizontal with each other.
Yes.
Yeah, we know.
Okay,
we know that's
cool.
our argument.
Yeah, so
major cog dis at play here.
Yeah.
So hold on. So boom, you have your horizontal there. So anything that is below that.
He's that
hold on.
ignorant of
Can
the
you
argument
shut up?
and his sophistry. He thinks he's still winning because you're agreeing.
No,
with him.
hold on. You're right. No, hold on. The thing is,
right, yeah.
hold on. The thing is, I'm still trying to in my mind, come up with an explanation as to how I could personally look down at something that is supposed to be higher up than me.
Listen, if you think both the ends of the water level are on the same horizontal, you're on our side, bud. I don't know what you're arguing.
Okay, so I guess you're just
exactly.
I guess you're just glossing over the entire fucking point. But far be it from me.
Okay, can I jump in for a
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Clarification question?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone agreed with you that we look down on something that's off in the distance? Because you seem to be saying, how can I look down upon something that's at the horizon? But I don't know that anyone has agreed with you. So are you just arguing against a straw man right now?
No, I can actually go back in here. I have a buddy that does like a lot of the construction work, and he got like that special device that you use. You kind of like look down, and it judges angles over distance.
He's not even hearing you, Travis, is he? Like,
no, he's not.
He's not.
No, he's not.
He's in his own world somewhere.
Okay, so let me ask you again. I'll ask you again. Has anyone here agreed with you?
Dude, I don't give a shit if anybody in here agrees with me or not.
Okay, so you're just arguing against a straw man then. Go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, if I could find you any evidence of me being able, or anybody really being able to look down at something that's supposed to be higher up in elevation than them, I would like to hear from you as to why that is possible.
Welcome
to Flat well, why don't you go away? Why don't you go away and try to accumulate whatever evidence you think you might have, and then come back and give us a presentation? And if we agree and concede with your argument, then you might have a case. So until then, squatting dog, pooping dog.
No, I think he's
can you not think of it as a hypothetical then?
Squatting dog is ducked out. He's run away.
Surely, I don't know what he's. I don't know what he's even arguing for. Our argument is the water's on the same horizontal on both ends of the water level. That's what he said. He agreed to that, and
over a relative small distance.
So, hold on.
No,
stop
been on
obfuscating his point.
St. Lucas. Did you take photographs? Because I have some.
Who?
You want to post one of your photographs? I've been there.
Who, me?
Yeah. You claim to go up on a mountain, right?
Yeah, up in Cabo.
Yeah,
yeah,
up
sure,
in Cabo.
Yeah,
where
Cabo
you
San Lucas.
Where you vacation all the time. Yeah, you probably saw me there.
Every couple of years I go to Cabo, deep sea fish.
Awesome. Yeah, great fishing there.
Yep.
Did you take any photographs of the sun being below you?
Yeah, somewhere. It's on a flash
Oh,
drive.
that's good.
Yeah, I'll have to find it somewhere. It's on a flash drive somewhere. Probably at my parents' place. But
typical.
The fact that you guys don't even want to concede this, which is obviously true, just shows how intellectually dishonest you are.
You agree that he saw a sun below him?
I can't say anything about his own experience that day since I wasn't there, but I can 100% say that there are a huge number of theodolite measurements of the horizon where you look down to see the horizon.
You don't measure the horizon to measure the horizon. Maybe he's seeing an optical effect, right? Maybe he's doing an observation from a higher altitude, looking over a great distance, usually over water if he's in Cabo because he's on a freaking island, basically. And maybe that's it.
Well, yeah, I can't speak about the observation he's speaking about, but I know for sure that there are theodolite measurements out there that show looking down at the horizon. So I'm not sure why you guys are being so incredulous about this argument. Yes.
Something that was never claimed.
Gummy bear.
Yes.
So you're taking pictures with a theodolite?
Personally, no.
Okay,
well,
so why even
post what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, somebody, DP just posted a presentation right there.
Who? Just showing how a surveyor can't, or claimed surveyor can't set his tools up properly. If you want to highlight that, go ahead.
I think maybe he is posted. Maybe it is setting it up correctly.
Yeah. No, we've just been over that video. That's the
these two tools are set up next to each other, same height.
Yeah. Keep reading.
Come on, bro. Don't stop.
I'm reading. The guy from he's not a surveyor. As if these things are actually that hard to set up. Like any fucking ape can actually use these things.
Obviously not this guy.
Yeah.
Well, obviously even in the second even in the second image, the fucking tall, like, was it the Statue of Liberty that might be? No, either way, some sort of tower is still lower than his fucking horizontal.
Which horizontal are you referring to? The one in the left image or the one in the right image?
Which is the correct one? Which one's the one that's not correct?
Either way. I mean, if they're both, if one of them is correct,
either way,
if one of them is correct,
them isn't horizontal. That's we can say
No,
that
so
at least. Can't
the
we?
The truth about if you know that one of them isn't horizontal, how can you trust that either of them are horizontal?
On a globe, they're
You
both
can't.
horizontals. They're both horizontals. They just have a different point of tangency. A different
They're
point at
next
which
to
it's
each
horizontal to
other.
the surface.
They're at the same
next to
height.
each other.
Yes.
So why are you saying there's a different tangent? Are they different horizontals?
Yes.
What, at the same place?
From the same height.
So the horizontal plane
Why are
is
you ignoring the question?
because I'm
Show
clarifying.
his sophistry here. Go on, keep
Yeah,
going.
full-on sophistry.
So
I
does
go
not
on,
matter.
Give it your
Does
best
not matter from where you define the horizontal line from. You can stand wherever you want. It doesn't have to be a tangent at the position you're at.
What?
However,
wait,
Wow.
Gummy. So you can set the tool up, and if the crosshairs are pointing in the sky, is it okay?
if you want to define your horizontal that way, then sure.
Oh.
The question is, what usage do you get from that?
Who's that?
One thing,
Gummy.
for example,
Gummy, why are
if
you still talking, mate?
If you let
Seriously.
me give you an example.
He likes
I think,
the sound of his
I
own
think
give
I
you an
might
example.
mute you just for your own good. Because
Let me give
you're
you an
not helping
example.
yourself at the minute.
Are you not going to let me give you an example?
Of your
No.
sophistry.
No, I'm good.
You're going to make it a good one.
You can call it sophistry all you want. I'm asking, can I give an example?
Go on then. Make it a good one.
Yeah, go on. I want to hear your
Okay.
sophistry.
So, let's say we have a river, and we want a horizontal to be defined from the middle of this river.
A river flowing.
Of course, yes.
Flowing river.
Yes.
You
Now,
want to
of
define
course,
a
we
horizontal
can't.
where? In the middle of it?
In the middle. We want it to be perfectly horizontal in the middle.
From side to side, or in the middle from source to river mouth? Which middle are we talking about?
As in side to side. So you want to build a bridge, and you want it to be perfectly horizontal in respect to the middle of the river. Now, of course, you can't
In the
set up
middle of
your
flowing
auto
water.
level. You cannot set up your auto level in the middle of a river. So instead, what you have to do is something called reciprocal leveling. So you'll measure from one side to the other, and then from the other side and back, and then you do a little math, and you figure out what is the horizontal in respect to the middle of that river.
No, you don't.
So without ever
no,
placing
you
the
don't
auto level,
do that.
let me finish
that's
my
a nice-
statement.
Yeah, let me
Without
finish.
ever placing the auto
bullshit.
level in the middle of the river, you have defined the horizontal that is horizontal to the
think
middle of
you've
the river.
completely confused what the job is and how it would work and what's the purpose of it. But
In
I
other
mean,
words, you can
nice
define
attempt at
horizontal
reciprocal.
without it being the horizontal of the location you're at.
You're just checking the
Wait,
logic,
wait.
right?
So whenever I was flying to Ghana,
Wait. Hold up. So you're talking about making a calculation. You're going to calculate where the instrument will be in the river. For us, how would you get the height if you're on the land?
So, by doing it, using the technique called reciprocal leveling, this is a technique within surveying. By doing the measurements from one side to the other,
trying to teach us about this?
from
Are you
one
trying to teach us here,
side,
Gummy Bear?
I'm trying to explain a concept.
Are you trying to teach?
Whether you're being taught or not is up to you. I'm teaching
No,
you,
I'm
or I'm
definitely
telling
not
you
being taught
about
by
a
you.
concept.
Definitely not being taught
Concept.
by you.
I can give you a concept of a comic book and say I am the superhero, but Bev is another superhero, and he's the top dog superhero. Would you go for that?
This is an actual thing within surveying.
No.
If you find a surveyor, who's
Gummy.
saying that this is bullshit,
Gummy.
then I'll pay you $1 million. But this is an
Gummy.
actual
Gummy.
thing within
No.
surveying.
I
just want a Bugatti. Give me that
for his own good. He's not
Yeah.
helping anybody at the minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So another interesting little thing that I've noticed. Of course, I don't have any pictures of it. You could take this just as a fucking story if you so choose.
I don't want no stories.
I thought you ducked out.
Bedtime.
Yeah.
I don't need no bedtime stories.
gone.
I do that for my little girl.
Okay, cool. I'll say it anyways.
Really?
There's
Yeah.
really no need.
No, yeah, please don't.
No, we don't do bedtime stories here. So keep it to yourself.
Let him tell his bedtime story. Come on, guys.
No.
Oh, hell no.
No, this isn't story hour, Jeremy.
It's story
This ain't
time.
story hour.
No.
It's reading Rainbow.
This ain't story hour.
Yeah, whenever I was on a flight to Europe.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I thought it was
still-
Ghana. Ghana's not in Europe.
There we go.
Yeah.
No more. We don't take flight. We're trying to keep our feet firmly on the ground, doing basic geometry. We're not taking flight at all.
You're still hosting, right, Beth?
One of the rules. Yes, I am still hosting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm not. Don't worry, guys. I'll not be hosting for much longer. In case you're all getting stressed.
But I did put
No,
some
you're good,
pictures
Dad.
up there.
No, I love it. Oh, sorry.
I put some pictures up. I put some pictures up there for vacation. For my vacation, it was pretty awesome. Watching the big boat go across the sea, holding all those containers, and just wondering, how much weight, of the ship itself that the guy who drives the boat, the captain, that he can't navigate the boat all the way over to the dock. They had to get somebody else to come out there and drive the boat for him. They come through the little waterway to get it all the way over. It was pretty awesome. I'm gonna be going back pretty soon.
Nice. Hey, can I say something before I head off for supper?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
For all the people that, if you have like something to show, or if you don't like the way something has been done, you want to host a show for yourself, you want to try it out, you can get what's called a temporary host. Just contact Geo and have a go at it. Make a presentation. See how it's like. See what it's like trying to control 20, 30 people, and have a go for yourself. Seriously. Anyone, Dress, Co-Show, any one of you guys.
I've been telling Zanuck for years to put some kind of coherent thought together in some kind of PowerPoint presentation or video or something.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah, anyone. Seriously.
You got the platform, 1080p. Beautiful sound. We got 3 streams, not 1, not 2, but 3. Take advantage, guys. This is it. This is your time.
Oh yeah, live stream 1, Bev.
Yeah.
You wasn't the only one able to get up under the horizon. There you go. Got you. I just noticed it today when I went back and looked. Mm-hmm.
That's concave Earth.
I just noticed it. I was like, God dang it, I got up under the horizon.
You're giving these concave Earthers ammunition.
That's fine.
The horizon rises to Redman's head level.
Proves it is optical effect.
The things that you see, well, when you just enjoying life, and the things that you run into, freaking awesome.
I mean, when you're looking out, everything underneath you on the ground is under the horizon, right?
Oh yeah.
Like if you're at the beach, all the little sand particles, all the seashells, all the little kids playing, they're all under the horizon.
That was a sunrise.
Concave Earth.
Well, if we assume that the horizon rises toward the level of the eyes, then anything below your eyes would be below that, including the sand below your feet. But perhaps the
I don't
horizon
know.
doesn't rise perfectly to the level of the
You
eye.
got background.
No, it's lemon
You got
back
bad
again.
background.
Sort your white noise out, lemon.
It's bad.
Perhaps we need to deal with this notion that the horizon rises perfectly to the level of the eye.
It
Perhaps
doesn't.
slightly below that.
It doesn't rise to the eye level. That's why I came in here in the first place. It doesn't. Provably so. I've never heard anyone say that it does, other than George. George says it goes above.
Yeah, what would be rising? The water would be rising?
Yeah.
The ground would appear to rise up toward the level of the eyes, like looking down a hallway.
Can't. It's just an optical effect, obviously.
Oh, I caught that on the beach just as well. I get.
Yep. The horizon is not Earth curvature. Definitely not.
Yeah, if you're going to go by what you see, I mean, you can go taking out your auto level or whatever. I mean, I've never looked through one, but I imagine it's like another lens where you're going to look through it, you're looking at the horizon, and then you're going to see all the ground rising up to that spot. We know that's not actually happening. It's, you know.
There you go. There's your picture. It's about to come in. There you go.
Gummy bears.
Took that up under the bridge.
Mute him.
I think he's dropped down to live stream too.
He has, but he's still posting that there's no free speech in this server.
How far away is the sun on that picture they just posted there? I think it's beyond the geometry allowed for a sphere Earth with a radius of 3959 miles.
That's some woofy stuff. So, number one, if somebody just posting somebody else's stuff, you know, in a live stream, oh, as proof, but they wasn't the one that did it, I'm not taking nothing from that person and talk about there. Nothing to talk about.
Have you ever talked with Zanuck, Bev?
Why? Why would you even say that?
Zanuck, listen, Zanuck is a genius. He's a globe genius, man.
No, he's not. I need an ice pick right now so I can gouge my own eyes. How about
I
that?
can remember a conversation that I had that I'm
All of my
absolutely
ears.
certain it was about LIGO, but it sort of tells me he's never been there and he's never ever said that. But I could have sworn it was a massive conversation that we had.
LIGO or Slack, one of them.
Both.
Claim.
Yeah, then he tried to retract, and then first he said he never said it. Then when they played it back for him, he retracted. That's not what he meant. It's what he said, but not what he meant to say.
Yeah, I don't want to carry on talking about him.
Nah, leave it alone. But I took a picture up under the bridge, and I thought it was pretty cool as far as like seeing perspective itself.
That was a cool.
Everything
That
was
is a cool.
Yeah, that's a nice photo.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
You know, everything, well, as far as the bridge is converging into one, but yet you can still see the horizon across, you know, from left to right and in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, these people just need to go out there and go do it themselves.
Yeah, you can't tell anything from a picture like that.
No, not at all. You can't put a ruler on a picture and say, "Ha ha, got an angle." Can't do that.
The problem is, after they observe something like this, they'll draw it on the paper, a line going down. and that's where the problem starts.
No, you can't put a ruler to the picture.
Well, the globe contention is that if the horizon doesn't rise perfectly to the level of the eyes, therefore the globe. That doesn't quite follow. If it doesn't quite rise to the level of the eyes, well, then that claim doesn't work anyway.
Talking for again. Your mic's bad, I think. Or is that just me?
No, it's bad for me as well.
Well, satellites must be.
But I don't want to know about somebody else's contentions. Let them come in with their own contentions. Unless you want to come in with some contentions of your own.
Hey, Redman, that
My
photo with
contention
the
is I agree
pier.
that the horizon doesn't rise perfectly to the level of the eyes. I agree with that, even over a flat surface.
Okay, somebody called out Redman. What'd you say?
I said that pier that you've got there, man, that water is above the ground. How come it's not rushing in towards you?
I don't know. It's staying at bay.
It's weird.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Hold up. I got one for y'all. Hold up. Let me show you this one. The trucker.
That's proof of the globe right there.
Nah. Not at all. Something I didn't notice about this one. And notice it's not a high picture, this is a low picture. Come on.
Yeah.
Posting it now.
But again, if there was curvature of a sphere, you would have to notice on the left to right, which is the horizon we're talking about. You don't observe that.
No, not at all. Because if you look at this picture, no. If you look at this picture, it looks like I could be flying a drone. But yeah, I'm standing in the water taking this picture. So you can't trust what you see as far as this pictures. I mean, they're nice to look at, but it looks like I'm in a drone taking pictures. My $400 camera, I'm out there in the water. I don't give a shit. Take pictures. Enjoy vacation. Time off. I think I might be able to top that rock here. You'll make me go into my bag. Still good, Beth?
Yeah.
Rakia gonna make me go in my bag. Pull out my perspective pictures. What are you talking about? No, I'm just talking about perspective. Where you at? Yeah, you know what? I can't even go into the bag. I'm just go and take the picture right now. Make it a whole lot easier.
Live picture taking.
Yeah, it is right there. Come on. But I mean, like I said, people go out and enjoy life, what it is. That's the backside of my house. Everything looked like it's converging into one, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So we can rule out that the main surveyor is not a real surveyor because he's a tool abusing and didn't admit it.
Well, I'd say you can't trust the guy for his plumb bobs not being parallel. For one, not showing any plumb bobs ever.
Experiments.
Mm-hmm.
And two, if you can't trust him to set up a horizontal, then you surely can't trust him to work out what a vertical is.
No.
Run away from the facts if you like.
Yeah, I never trusted that Plumb Bobs isn't parallel video because, I mean, there's no Plumb Bobs.
Yeah.
You gotta have Plumb Bobs if you're gonna.
We're talking about the dangly things. The dangly things establish the vertical.
Yeah, you established center.
Say what?
You established zenith.
Sounds like your mic's gone. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm on my.
That's muffled as anything, that.
Stand on. I'm on my phone now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not
that Brenda?
Somebody's up under the closet in the box.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think she was saying something about Zenith. I'm not sure though.
Xena,
Zenith,
warrior, princess.
It's the same thing.
I'm dressed as Xena at the minute.
Oh, Lucy Lawless.
I thought there was like a hard rule here about personal attacks.
It's not a personal attack.
I can't hear what you're saying. Sorry. Maybe it's coming through any better. And I can't imagine it being. Is anybody else? Is it just me? Or
oh,
yeah, I could
sounds
barely
awful.
recognize her voice. That's how bad the audio was.
See, it's not me.
So let's go back to what it was. Can't trust Maine.
Yeah, you can. Me personally, wouldn't be able to trust anything that he did after knowing that he can't set up a horizontal. But I know more about it anyway, and I have a look and see if you can work out what the hell he's doing or what he claims to do, and the wizardry that he is like, because he's not a very high level wizard. It's not hard to spot his tricks if you look. Most people don't even watch the videos, like, just because he's made the video, it seems to be enough. Because it's just a claimed video that people post. That's about as far as you get. Nobody's actually looked into it, knows the procedure, what he's meant to have been doing, the accuracy over that distance, the claimed accuracy that he's meant to have made in the first place.
Uncalibrated tools. I could do it afterwards. It's not good. But let's see. Hold up. Dang.
globe is dying here. It's been dead. I like doing make believe. Where's that one picture?
Right, well, I'm gonna have to get going for a bit, so I'm gonna close this YouTube down. It's been good. Maybe come back tomorrow and have a go at this again